He was the heavenly demon of his era. Betrayed by his comrades, he was trapped on the battlefield. After dying in battle, he was luckily given a chance to be reborn. For the sake of old grudges and loyalties, he is determined to return to the pinnacle. Join us and see how spectacular the journey of revenge for Zheng Tian will be. Amidst a fierce and bloody battlefield, bodies lay strewn across the ground. The figure of Zheng Tian stood proudly. Seeing his imposing aura, the group of opponents had to be wary. His movements were decisive. He drew his sword, unleashing sharp slashes. The head of the Nangong clan foolishly assumed, by now that bastard must be exhausted. He must die right now. A dangerous glint flashed in Zheng Tian's eyes. He growled each word with cold intent. Now you're the only one left. Shenzhen held his staff firmly, ready for battle. While chanting Amitabha Buddha, he also prepared himself. Zheng Tian rushed forward to engage him in close combat. The opponent's incredible speed startled Xuanzhen. A palm strike from Zheng Tian made the space tremble violently. The old man struggled to block with his staff, but the difference in strength was too great. Xuanzhen was sent flying backward. The old man spun his staff, summoning waves of power. You cursed demon god! The 1,000 palms of the Buddhist gate, carrying a mighty aura, struck out towards his opponent. A turbulent green stream of true chi shot towards him. Facing the impending danger, Zheng Tian remained calm. He gracefully leaped high into the air, dodging the attack. The force of the blow simply passed behind him. At the same time, Zheng Tian seized the opportunity, appearing directly above Xuanzhen's head. The old man only just realized it. What? He descended with earth-shattering power. Then I'll kill you first. Xuanzhen tried to block the blow. His knees buckled. The old man growled, "What are you waiting for? Now's the time." The other two were just waiting for this moment to ambush. The entire area was filled with swirling dust. The battle raged intensely. The other two unleashed their ultimate techniques. Plum Blossom Light Strike, Thunderous Bombardment. Two streams of power simultaneously descended on where he stood. Zheng Tian couldn't escape. He coughed up a mouthful of blood. At that moment, Xuanzhen launched a sneak attack from behind. The old man spun the staff in his hands, mobilizing all his power. May you be reborn in paradise. But a spectacular turnaround occurred when he launched himself high into the air, dodging a fatal blow. Seeing his opponent still had the strength to counter, Xuanzhen's eyes widened in fear. What from midair? Zheng Tian condensed a crimson killing aura. His hand was enveloped in a demonic red glow of terrifying energy. A bloody scene of death unfolded. Instantly, the old man was hit. His heavy body slammed into the ground. Fresh blood splattered everywhere. Zheng Tian's voice was as dark as an echo from hell. Next, Xuanzhen was dead. The remaining two old men turned pale with fear. They could feel the breath of death approaching. They exclaimed in unison, "Monster!" Zheng Tian shot towards them at lightning speed. His first target was the old man, Zhang Guang. Gong Huang from behind unleashed lightning to support him, while shouting an order to his comrade in front. Fall back. Their swords clashed, letting out a piercing clang. Zhang Guang struggled to defend himself. Zheng Tian's eyes radiated a thick demonic aura. He was known as the demon god Zheng Tian. The entire space exploded, as waves of power collided. To slay the man who had single-handedly dyed the Central Plains red with blood, all the martial arts masters of the 9 great sects had gathered. But even so, when facing a man whose martial arts were hailed as peerless, the World Alliance, their coalition was pushed to the brink of collapse. Zheng Tian easily mocked his opponent. "Hey, old man, have you prepared your own grave yet?" Zhang Guang retorted stubbornly. "Of course! I've prepared a grave just for you." The old man used his ultimate technique, Plum Blossom Dance. The entire area was submerged in an illusion of blooming pink cherry blossoms. He was surprised, watching tree branches reach for him like tentacles. Zheng Tian's hand tightened on his sword, showing his resolve. Not yet. Images from his memory flashed by, of a happy and peaceful family of 4. The glint of the blade reflected off his face, revealing Zheng Tian's resolute features. He swore, "I can't die yet." Demonic Spirit Sword Art, 5th Form Black Dragon's Touch. The branches shattered. The old man suffered from the backlash, spitting out a mouthful of fresh blood. Zhang Guang was dead. At that moment, streams of blue power struck. They were like a dense web of lines, intertwining and enveloping his body. It was Gong Huang's infinite Emperor Sword Art. His body was covered in wounds from the cuts of the sword strikes. He thought to himself, "That filthy rat from the Nangong clan? This sword strike hurts to the bone." But thinking of the images of the small children in his past, it gave Zheng Tian strength. "To me, this is just a scratch." Gong Huang thought he misheard. "What?" Zheng Tian raised the sword in his hand. A murderous aura radiated from it. The sword strike carried a torrent of true chi, rushing towards the man. Blood spurted from Gong Huang's body. His body was sent flying far back in pain. He gritted his teeth in anger, trying to suppress the agony. "Zheng Tian, you despicable demonic thief!" Naturally, Zheng Tian didn't give his opponent a chance to rest, continuing his assault. Gong Huang countered with all his might, unleashing a killing blow. Blue sword energy formed a dense web around where Zheng Tian stood. He appeared from behind, preparing to backstab him. Gong Huang was determined to take him down this time. "Die, you bastard!" The sword in his hand plunged deep into Zheng Tian's back. He celebrated prematurely. "Your stubborn life ends here." Zheng Tian gritted his teeth, enduring the spreading pain. But memories of his loved ones flooded his mind. Everything became clearer and clearer. Zheng Tian spoke. "Let's end this." Seeing he was still alive, Gong Huang was shocked. "What?" Zheng Tian shouted with hatred. "I said let's end it all. This cursed fate." He performed a self-destructive act. His own sword pierced backward into the opponent behind him. The blade plunged deep into Gong Huang's chest. As he withdrew the sword, the man's body flew backward. Zheng Tian gripped the hilt with both hands. One final blow, the sword carrying a crimson true key slashed towards his opponent. The man's head was severed from his neck, his vision blurred. But before he died, Gong Huang wondered to himself, how is this possible? I clearly pierced his heart. How is he still? Could it be? Has he truly surpassed the limits of a human? His eyes slowly closed. So this is the demon god. Nan Gong Huang was dead. The entire sky was shrouded in a deadly crimson glow. The 9 great sects had all been annihilated. Bodies were strewn everywhere. A battle for survival had ended. Zheng Tian's sword-wielding hand dropped to his side. He silently called out the beloved names. Yanhua, Shirui, is this enough? Memories of his childhood rushed back when Zheng Tian was fighting with kids his age. An arrogant boy shouted, "You piece of crap, you dare act so brazenly in front of me." A hand reached out towards the young boy. The person lifted him up, appraising him. "You're pretty good. Not bad at fighting." Zheng Tian's mind was hazy. So, this is the moment. My life flashes before my eyes. It's been a long time since I've seen Master's youthful face. That's right. The moment he stepped into the martial world started from here. It all began with brawls for survival, wandering without a home, relying on just a single sword. To live for one more day, Zheng Tian had to kill one person. He constantly asked himself, endless killing, meaningless killing, a life like this. Does it have any meaning? Human life. Is it really so fleeting? One day someone came and told Zheng Tian, I understand how that feels. Yes, me too. Clashing in the market every day, arguing with people in this world. If you want to live long, you have to treat everyone as an enemy, and every time I comfort the little ones who complain about food and clothing, I feel exhausted. But it's in those moments that they become the most precious. When I lost my parents and collapsed, they were the ones who gave my life meaning. Once again, she gently advised, why don't you try to find a meaning to live for? Zheng Tian once wanted to live with everyone. For someone like him who only knew how to kill, it was they who gave Zheng Tian a reason to exist. He drew his sword once more only for revenge. A wandering, rootless life. Zheng Tian wondered, where is the meaning of my life? In the stream of memories soaked in blood and violence, her face appeared like a gentle, shining point of light, the only one in his life. Zheng Tian stared, completely captivated. Hot tears streamed down Zheng Tian's cheeks. Reaching the end of his life, he finally realized, so it was always here. From the very beginning, the blood-stained path that I walked alone for 15 years. Even though my sword grew dull, and my body carried countless layered wounds, I still poured my entire life into completing this vengeance. And then looking up at the newly dawning light, Zheng Tian let the sword in his hand fall. This is the burial place of the demon god Zheng Tian. Suddenly the sound of an argument rang in his ears. What nonsense are you spouting, daring to barge in here? Do you think the martial arts of our clan can be sold for a few pieces of silver? The skin on Zheng Tian's face became youthful again. He hadn't realized it yet and just thought, it's so noisy. So this is hell, huh? As soon as he opened his eyes, he saw Chu Yan speaking opposite him. Because your older brother has met with misfortune and cannot inherit the sect's martial arts, I will have my son take over. The martial arts secrets of the Huohua clan. He couldn't quite get his bearings. What is happening? Isn't this supposed to be hell? Dao Zhen beside him retorted, absolutely not. My older brother is still alive and well. The sect's martial arts. How can they be passed to an outsider? Su Yan added. Besides, you're not even from the direct bloodline. Even if my brother can't learn martial arts, the martial arts left by our ancestors must be kept within the Huohua clan. He watched everything unfold with suspicion, looking at those unfamiliar faces. Zheng Tian wondered, who on earth are these people? Dao Bao smirked disdainfully at their reaction. He spoke up. This isn't going to end easily. All right, let me make a suggestion. Zheng Tian was skeptical. A suggestion? He replied, I heard those two are so poor they can't even afford to eat. So I'll bet money. And you, Hua Yujin, will bet the entire martial arts inheritance of the Hua clan. Then you and I will duel for it. The winner takes all. How about it, do you dare? Dao Zhen and Su Yan angrily exclaimed, What? My older brother can't even begin to practice martial arts because of his madness. Do you think I'd fall for such a cheap trick? Dao Bao cut them off. Too much talking, how annoying. Zheng Tian asked suspiciously, Who the hell is Hua Yujin? He introduced himself, I am the demon god Zheng Tian. Dao Bao found this ridiculous. Who did you just say you were? He repeated, Zheng Tian. The martial world seems to call me the demon god. He sneered, demon god. That's not funny at all. Why not just call yourself the king of the underworld, Dao Zhen? A bit embarrassed thought, of all the times. Why now? Chu Yan criticized. Your madness must be getting worse. With the young master of the clan in such a state, the fate of the Hua clan is as good as sealed. I'm saying this, not because of blood ties or affection. Consider it a piece of advice. It's not bad advice for you either. She declared, say no more. Your silence will be taken as acceptance. The duel is set, that's enough. The duel will be held at Biyun Pavilion on February 5th. Dao Bao reminded him coldly. This is a promise from one martial artist to another. If you break the dueling agreement, you know the consequences, right? Demon god Zheng Tian? Su Yan whispered, asking, I can't believe it. They just decided everything on their own like that. What are you going to do? Brother, you've never even swung a sword properly before? Zheng Tian asked them suspiciously, Are you talking about me? Never swung a sword, do you say that? How ridiculous. So ridiculous it's laughable. Considering that kid's novice level, all I need is a sliver of internal energy and I can... But just as he boasted, he felt something was wrong. Because the immense power Zheng Tian prided himself on was nowhere to be found. He shouted in panic, What is this? Why isn't there a single trace of internal energy in my body? It's completely empty. This body, what in the world happened to it? So weak and fragile. Can it even hold a sword? What kind of joke is this? Su Yan yelled, Please stop. Brother, I'm begging you, please come to your senses. Even if you've gone mad. You're still, huh? What kind of fool would just sit back and take this? Dao Zhen scolded her. Foolish girl. You dare call my older brother a fool? Apologize right now. Su Yan refused adamantly. No, I won't. The little girl's eyes filled with tears of pent-up frustration. Then she let it all out. It's all your fault that Mom and Dad died so tragically. After venting her anger, Su Yan quickly ran away. The boy sighed and said, You probably don't remember, but she often loses control like that. I hope you can forgive her. He was very magnanimous. I understand, Dao Zhen continued, then I'll take my leave. Only Zheng Tian remained standing alone. He was disgusted. Even the children see me as a raving lunatic. How ridiculous. Truly ridiculous. The brilliant sunset covered the entire area. Zheng Tian stood silently for a long time. I clearly, I cut off the head of the Nangong clan's leader. I can still feel the sensation. My heart being pierced made it impossible to breathe. I even completed my blood vengeance for Yan Hua and my brothers. Her sister. I should have passed away peacefully. And yet here I am in this body. How in the world did this happen? And those kids? Why do they look exactly like Shai and Rui? He said I was mad. What kind of nonsense is this? From behind, someone ran up breathlessly, calling, Young Master. Young Master, you went out again in such a weak state. Do you have any idea how worried I was? Zheng Tian frowned and asked, Who are you? You seem to know me well. The young man was a subordinate of the Hua clan. Moshe seemed to understand. Another bout of madness, I understand. Very well. Please allow this subordinate to explain once more. Hua Yujin was once a person of extraordinary talent. His reputation was so great that many righteous sects wanted to accept you as a disciple. At the age of 23, you became the head of our clan. That person is you, young master. This is the 625th time. This subordinate has had to repeat this to you. Zheng Tian replied, Is that so? If I was once so mighty, then why is my Dantian so crippled now? And what's this about being mad? For what reason does everyone treat me like a lunatic? Moshe was put in a difficult position. About that, he recounted. 17 years ago, during a training session, the 6-year-old Yujin requested, No using internal energy. Qing Daobao, let's have a fair fight today. The 9-year-old Qing Daobao agreed. Fine. No internal energy, fair and square. The two children rushed to fight each other. Moshe continued his story. I'm not sure who initiated the duel first, but when the elders of both clans were away, the two of you started fighting. The fight was incredibly intense. Daobao showed no concern whatsoever. He leaped high and gave Yujin a kick, as expected of the renowned Qing Daobao. He blocked every single move. Daobao suddenly spoke. You truly are a genius. Praised by all the righteous sects. Pure martial arts, straightforward, empty-handed techniques. The boy asked, suspiciously, What are you suddenly talking about? He condensed power into his fist. You fool! The fist flew towards Yujin's face. The boy was sent flying far away. Yujin stumbled. He said defiantly, Qing Dao Bao, we clearly agreed not to use internal energy. Why did you use the 7 injuries fist? He sneered at Hua Yujin. You still considered me a friend until now. That's right, as you can see. This is the 7 injuries fist, the ultimate technique passed down in the Kongtong sect. They say its side effects are no small matter. Even a single hit is enough to be devastating. You see, I tried this move not long ago. On one of my senior brothers, the one who was always acting so arrogant. Just one blow, and he's still bedridden to this day. He landed another punch on him. Let's see how you handle this. Hua Yujin. Sheng Ten now understood the story. So that's how it is. This is why they call me crazy. If they think my condition is a side effect from the 7 injuries fist, then it makes sense. Dao Bao had once said contemptuously, how bold. And you, Hua Yujin, will have to bet your entire family's martial arts. He ruined me, turned me into a madman, and crippled my Dantian. And he's not even satisfied, still demanding a duel. He inquired, back then, how did they handle that bastard? For things to get this messy. Moshi replied, that was the decision of the previous clan head. Sheng Tian was surprised. My father, he confirmed. Yes, although Qing Daobao is your cousin, he is also the young master of the Qing, Hua Merchant Guild. His power is even ranked among the 10 great giants. In the Central Plains, so he just got a scolding and the matter was dropped. Sheng Tian laughed coldly. His own son was crippled by the 7 injuries fist, and he just let it go with a few words of scolding. What a pathetic family. And that pair of parents, where are they now? The young man said awkwardly, about the young master's condition. The two of them stepped into the main hall. Sheng Tian stood before a memorial tablet. Only then did Moshe continue. It got worse and worse. The young master's father fell into debt, desperately seeking doctors everywhere to cure your madness. 9 years ago, the young master's mother's illness took a turn for the worse, and she passed away. 3 years later, his father, burdened with overwhelming debt also, he fell silent upon hearing this story. In the past, Yujin and his 2 younger siblings stood before the memorial tablet. Behind him were whispers and gossip. A son who brought ruin to an entire family. A son who became the reason for his parents' deaths. An older brother who pushed his own siblings into poverty. The reputation of the Huohua clan ends. From here, Moshi revealed, all that remains is a massive debt because of the young master, along with 2 loyal servants and a few martial artists, and the young master's own brother and sister. That's why Suyan said earlier, it's all your fault. You're the reason Mom and Dad died so tragically. He understood. A single illness destroyed an entire family. No wonder that little girl was so resentful. Late at night, the light was still on in the room where Zheng Tian was staying. Inside the study was a stack of red documents. He closed the book. I found a few things from the historical records and books in the room of Hua Yujin. When I was the demon god Zheng Tian, I died in battle during the Great War with the 9 great sects. 35 years have passed since then. The realistic feeling of this world tells me this is reality. In short, I have now entered the body of Hua Yujin, the eldest son of the Huohua clan, a madman with a crippled Dantian. Everyone who needed to be killed was killed in that life. I have no more regrets. Under the table was a drawing with a message. Get well soon, brother. Hua Daozhen. I hope you recover soon, Hua Suyin. He remembered the 2 kids. My actual siblings, huh? Their situation is truly tragic. It reminds me of the 2 children from long ago. Perhaps I must continue living this life. Maybe I can help them, even if only a little. But my biggest obstacle is the Qinghua Merchant Guild. They were the ones who crippled this body and destroyed the family. I need to immediately prepare for the duel with Qing Daobao, which is set for the 5th of next month. Before that day arrives, I must at least cultivate back from the beginner's stage. It seems I have to start all over again. Zheng Tian sat down to cultivate. He reminisced. This reminds me of the very beginning, when I first learned martial arts. Back then, even just breathing was extremely difficult. Zheng Tian was careful with every breath in and out. A stream of energy flashed in his Dantian. He could feel it. Perhaps it's because of the natural talent. This body's martial aptitude was originally extraordinary. I don't even need to go through the process of sensing true ki. Just closing my eyes is enough. A burst of true chi erupted, filling the entire room. It was so fierce that it spread throughout the house and outside. A beam of light shot across the dark night sky. In another room, 2 people were working. The tremor was also felt by Mo Shi. They immediately left their positions. Everyone rushed worriedly to his room. Young Master Hua! What happened? Zheng Tian was collapsed on the floor. Huanfeng laughed gleefully. He's dead. He's finally toast. He checked again. Just kidding. He's completely fine. In fact, his pulse is even stronger than before. Why is he stronger? Zhengtian woke up and squeezed Huanfeng's hand, which was touching him. Hey, old man, what on earth is wrong with this body? I only tried to form an inner core, but the pain was excruciating. The old man was shocked. What? Zhengtian questioned. My body. Does it have some kind of special constitution? Huanfeng replied, if you're asking about your constitution, they call it the heavenly martial body. It's a rare type of constitution, a hero chosen by the heavens. At least that's what the Shaolin elder once told me. Zhengtian was annoyed. You dare to laugh, you? He suddenly coughed up blood. This constitution is completely opposite to cultivating demonic arts. If a body of pure righteous energy is forced to cultivate demonic arts, it will suffer extreme agony. In the worst-case scenario, it could even lead to death, like the Tianwu Ziti, the Tiansha Ziti, the Tianyan Ziti, the Tianshui Ziti, and countless others. Ma Shi said worriedly. Young Master Hua, please calm down. Zhengtian thought to himself. Among the myriad of heaven-ordained physiques, why did it have to be this one? He was determined to fight the duel. With just over a month left, this situation is extremely unfavorable. Zhengtian turned and asked, who are these old guys? He replied, that's Steward Du and Elder Zhao of the clan. He was suspicious. The eldest son has collapsed, yet their expressions are so calm. Huanfeng whispered a reminder. Young Master Hua's condition is getting worse. Perhaps it's time for us to prepare. His hand trembled as he reached up. What, that old scoundrel Zhao? Ma Shi worriedly said, young Master Hua, you can't die now. Zhengtian was resolute. I'm not going to die, you idiot. Ma Shi, after receiving the order, was hesitant. We're already struggling to eat. Where are we going to get the silver to buy a sword? He was surprised. Is this family really that broke? He replied, right now we have to borrow from an evil sect, called the Bang Hu Men, because of their ridiculous interest rates. We're drowning in sky-high debt. A clap of thunder roared. Zhengtian understood. I see, a declining clan. First I have to solve the money problem, he said nonchalantly. If that's the case, since the debt is already piled up, what's the difference if we add a little more? Ma Shi tried to stop him. What, you're going to borrow more? Are you crazy? He yelled, shut up, go write a letter to the two elders. I'm going out for a bit. It was pouring rain outside. Ma Shi tried to dissuade him. You've been bedridden for 3 days. Young master, take a look at yourself. Are you really okay? Zhengtian snorted, thinking. 3 days. This rotten body will die before the duel even starts. He cut him off. Shut up, you're making my head split. More importantly, to fight the duel I need a sword. Go find me some swords right now. After giving the order, Zhengtian seemed more cheerful. Steward Du trembled with anger when he heard. Young Master Hua went to the Bang Hu Men again. Huanfeng asked, what are you worried about? The Bang Hu Men will surely kick him out. The old man replied, that's not the problem. If he pisses off the Bang Hu Men, the Su Sha Men might take action. Standing before the loan sharks of Bang Hu Men, Zhengtian announced, big guy. Relay this message to your master. Hua Yuqin of the Huohua Shijia wishes for an audience. The Bang Hu Men guard, Kang Luhu warned. If you're here to gamble, cut the crap and get inside. He commanded, why not? If you can't do it, then get your superior out here. The man asked in a cold tone. What did you just say? Ma Shi beside him was terrified. No, sir. Our young master is a little unwell. Zhengtian unafraid asked back, what are you looking at? Luhu smirked calculatingly. He asked calmly, is there a problem? Luhu bowed to the other man. Sir, he says he wants an audience with the sect leader. Zhengtian turned to this man and asked, are you his superior? Zhongbao asked directly. Why do you want to see the sect leader? He replied, to borrow more money. The Bang Hu Men vice sect master Ma. Zhongbao understood. So you're a customer. In that case, there's no need to see the sect leader. Finally, they were allowed in. Let's go. While walking on the bridge, Masha quietly called out, young master. You can still turn back. I have a bad feeling about this. Zhengtian dismissed it. We've come all this way. What are you still talking about? He whispered. A few days ago, old lady Tan at the tavern in town saw the Bang Hu Men's leader fight a wandering martial artist. In a flash, the martial artist's chest was torn open. It said he has mastered the Heishou Shuangsha Tian. Wu Yue Shagong, Heishou Shuangsha Tian. Wu Yue Shagong. He asked curiously, so what? What's so scary about that? Zhongbao, walking ahead, cut in. Your servant seems to be brighter than you. But it seems it's too late to turn back now. While Zhengtian froze, not understanding what was happening, he was surrounded by the men next to him. The man ordered, let's begin. Zhengtian knew he had fallen into a trap from the start. You planned this all along, didn't you? The man replied, outside the gate with so many prying eyes, I couldn't just beat to a pulp the eldest young master of the Huohua Shijia. Right. You haven't even bothered to pay the interest, yet you dare to show your face here. I absolutely will not let you continue to leech off us, like your parents did. Masha kowtowed and begged, I, your humble servant, apologize for coming here. Please spare our young master's life. Zheng Tian caught this key point. What, like my parents? He said coldly, I don't have parents. Everyone present fell silent for a moment. Zheng Tian suddenly remembered. That's right. I just remembered myself when I was Zheng Tian. Zhongbao ordered, let's start. Just teach them a lesson. A man grabbed him by the collar. He declared, you little punk. I'm going to beat you to a pulp. Zheng Tian shifted his whole body, slipping past the man. He used his strength to break the man's arm. The man's eyes rolled back in pain. He writhed on the ground, cursing, you stinking rats. You dare to pull a fast one? Zheng Tian was surprised. For a body like that, his bones are so soft. He thought to himself, with this rotten body, it's better to use cunning than to force it with pure strength. Zhongbao ordered, what are you standing there for? Finish him. Immediately, another man rushed forward to attack. The man's sword was aimed at him, but Zheng Tian's movements were incredibly agile. The man got angry and closed in. You stinking rat! He retreated. Since I can't match his strength, I have to keep my movements nimble. Then, gaining momentum, he headbutted the man straight on. The man was sent flying backwards, spitting out fresh blood. The man couldn't help but swear, damn it. Zheng Tian somersaulted to the ground. A kick sent the other guy flying again for a few tumbles. His body was knocked back into the man behind him. The impact left both of them powerless and knocked down. These two no longer had the strength to resist. Ma Shi asked worriedly, young master, are you okay? Zheng Tian replied, can't you see I'm fine? He was shocked. What the hell you learned to fight? I like that where... Zhongbao spoke up. This isn't any martial art. It's just a few tricks you pick up from brawling in the streets. When did you ever brawl in the streets? Very well, then. He launched a stream of internal energy. Try to dodge this, too. The stream of power, like a column of light, flared past his face. Zheng Tian was astonished. What a coin! Zhongbao had to step in himself. Get lost, you idiots. Let me handle him. He panicked. Wait, I just want to talk to your leader. Is that so difficult? The man replied. He's not the kind of person you can just get an audience with. Now crush him. With that, Zhongbao rushed forward. A blinding light flashed from the sword strike. The sword slashed straight down where Zheng Tian was standing. The man was shocked to see what his opponent used to block it. A chopstick. How? He said, you use what you've got. I don't have a sword, so I'll use a substitute for now. But it's not bad. They fought fiercely, Zhongbao thought to himself. As I heard, he uses a type of martial art I've never seen before. The hand holding the sword tightened. Zheng Tian quickly stuck the chopstick into that hand. An opening. Zhongbao was shocked. Not only did he block my sword with a chopstick, but he also found an opening. He swung his sword across. Damn you. You stinking rat. He leaned back to dodge. If you dare to underestimate these chopsticks, you might just be scared out of your wits. Each chopstick transformed into a sharp ray of light, flying towards Zhongbao. The man had to look at him in a new light. I thought he was an idiot with no genchi. But why? How could he reach this level in such a short time? Is he really the Hua Yuqin of the Huohua Shijia that I once knew? Zheng Tian pushed the chopstick deeper into his opponent. I heard our family is deeply in debt. I was wondering who exactly it was. The deeply embedded chopstick caused blood to spray everywhere. Zheng Tian said contemptuously, but you dare to demand money from us, with such pathetic martial arts? If that's the case, he decided to teach his opponent a lesson. Zheng Tian declared, have a taste of the martial arts you look down on. The man didn't back down. When did I do that? Your farce ends here. Zhongbao used his internal energy. Heishu Shuangsha Tian, Wu Yue. Shagong's ultimate move. Zheng Tian sneered, the ones playing games are you. Guys, Zhongbao slashed down, but he was shocked to realize he dodged it. His fist had already appeared right in front of him. Zhongbao couldn't believe it. This bastard, just why did he hide? This strength until now. He spat out a mouthful of blood and asked, damn you. How are you going to handle the consequences of this? He replied, I didn't come here to listen to threats, but if you tell me what I want to hear, you might be able to hang on to your life a little longer. So I'll say it again. Lend me some silver, okay? Zheng Tian put a pipe to his lips. He took a satisfying puff. It's been a long time since I've felt this much joy. Masha reached out and snatched the pipe away. He reminded him, young master, this is bad for you. He said regretfully, what a waste. He walked into the room. Zhongbao asked, tell me, what do you want to know? He answered, why did you lend money to my family? When you hate taking losses the most, and without any collateral, I only sense a hidden malice here. The man tried to evade. You're mistaken. How could we possibly have any malicious intent? Zheng Tian exposed him. From here I can hear the gears turning in your head. Ong Ting Tuan, think carefully for me. Perhaps if I shove these 3, 5, 10 dice down your throat then. Even if you wanted to open your mouth, you wouldn't be able to utter half a word. The man had to confess. It was an order from the Tsinghua Shanghui. Zheng Tian's interest was piqued. Is that so? As expected, it was those rats? What deal did they make with you? Zheng Bao hesitated. That is, Zheng Tian reminded him, hey, you're no sage or hero. If you want to be loyal to your own men. Those damn merchants don't give a damn. Whether your limbs are chopped to pieces, or whether this whole place burns down tonight. The man had a fierce internal struggle. Finally, he confessed. We have a secret contract. The Tsinghua Shanghui ordered us to keep providing funds to the Huhua Shijia, no matter how much we had to give it. With sky-high interest rates, it's enough to plunge them into an abyss of inescapable debt. In return for causing the downfall of the Huhua Shijia, they promised to give you all the land, plus a hefty reward to keep us happy. Zheng Tian, so they were after my family's land. If I borrow 300 taels of gold today, how much will it be after 1 year? The man reported, according to the contract, it will become 5,000 taels of gold. He burst out laughing after hearing that. You guys are ridiculous. All right, let's continue. Who are you? The ones behind the scenes, cleaning up your mess. Zheng Bao revealed, it's the Su Sha men, one of the 4 great martial heavens alliance of the unorthodox sects. Zheng Tian was surprised. The Su Sha men. There's a sect like that in the 4 great martial heavens. It hasn't been long since they joined the 4 great martial heavens. What a bunch of rabble. Ma Shi whispered from the side. Young master, you've never met them. How can you speak so confidently? He instructed, don't worry about it. I don't want to waste my breath explaining. He hesitated. But why hasn't the person who went to get the silver returned yet? If they gave us a little more time. At this moment, the door to the room was pushed open. The person bringing the silver had returned, with a chest in his hands. He placed it down in front of Zheng Tian. Here, 300 taels of gold. Seeing the gold ingots, he was overjoyed. Excellent, this is enough. Let's go. Ma Shi was still worried. Are we really borrowing this much? He replied, shut up and take it. The rain outside was still heavy. Zheng Tian reminded them, record today's loan clearly in the ledger. Book. After I'm done dealing with the Tsinghua Shanghui, I will come back and pay off the entire debt. It seems you guys are also extorting money from the common people. Don't go too far. If you cross the line, I will crush you, Zheng Bao complied. Yes, we understand. He breathed a sigh of relief as he saw this god of plague off, secretly hoping, let's see who gets destroyed first. The mad young master of the Huhua Shijia. When he returned, Han Feng rushed out to greet him. Young master, seeing Zheng Tian's condition, he was alarmed. Blood? He replied, not my blood. Steward Du asked anxiously, what on earth happened at the Bang Hu men? He replied, I just went to borrow some silver. I heard we were short on funds. We have to take proper care of our martial artists. We can't let everyone desert. They were curious. Where did you get that? There's no way the Bang Hu men would lend any more. Zheng Tian reported the situation. I told them to record it clearly in their books. You just need to worry about providing food and clothing for my brothers. Is that understood, Steward Du? He gave one last instruction before leaving. Try to do a good job. The two of them silently watched Zheng Tian's retreating back. Steward Du asked doubtfully, have you ever heard of an illness that makes a person so crazy? He returned to the room. The first thing he did was light a candle. The ancestral tablets were illuminated. Zheng Tian began to speak. Since I've never had parents, I don't really know what to say. The money situation is temporarily stable, so don't worry. I will take good care of the brothers and the servants. You can rest easy now. I have arranged to duel with some fool in a few days. His name is Dao Bao over a family secret manual. But don't worry, I will break his neck. The flickering candlelight shone on the ancestral tablets. A peaceful night passed just like that. Giving way to the morning sun, the sunlight shone down on the family residence. The tired servants were carrying things. What on earth did he order? Ma Shi encouraged them from behind. Everyone's worked hard. A servant complained. This stuff is incredibly heavy. My back feels like it's about to break in two. Anyway, it's done. Let's go for a drink and take a break. Zheng Tian opened the door and stepped out. You've brought it. He checked the inventory. 50 jin? 80 jin and 110 jin. It's all correct. What are you going to do with these? The martial artists had a hard time carrying them. He said cheerfully. A sword in hand, what else would it be for? Of course it's for swinging. Let's start with the 50 jin one first. Seeing Zheng Tian struggle to lift it, Masha was astonished. Are you really going to swing something that heavy? He wasn't surprised that he couldn't lift it. I figured as much, but I didn't expect that I couldn't even lift 50 jin. This body is truly rotten. But even so, I absolutely cannot give up. Zheng Tian's whole body trembled as he barely lifted it. At least I can lift it a little if I use both hands. Don't just stand there gawking. Follow my orders, Ma Shi. Remember to prepare a lot of meat in my meals, he said with a heavy heart. I still can't rest easy. In the room, Zheng Tian carefully wrapped his hands with cloth. He had lifted the sword high. I only have 2 weeks before the duel. My physique is the Tianwu, ZT, which is the complete opposite of the demonic arts my master taught me. It seems the only way is to learn the martial arts of my masters. Friend the Jujian Wushuang. Zheng Tian executed the sword forms one by one. He believed this is the only way for me to get out of this situation. A day later, after hearing the news, Dao Bao exclaimed in surprise. Hua Yuqin beat the grunts. From Bang Human to a pulp, the guard confirmed yes. According to the letter, they won't be able to move. For nearly 2 weeks, he was skeptical. But Hua Yuqin has no dantian. How could he do that? It seems he's not an ordinary person either. Perhaps I should prepare a gift for the young master of the Huohua, Shijia. He had snapped the strings of his instrument. Dao Bao's curiosity was piqued. I'm starting to look forward to the day of the duel. Let me see your true hidden face, Hua Yuqin. But at this time elsewhere, Zheng Tian was soaring through the air, then quickly landing steadily on the ground. His gaze was extremely determined. The Tianwu Ziti, a body bestowed by the heavens, must be able to endure this much. Meanwhile, somewhere else, mysterious chests were being piled up. Zheng Tian appeared with a thoughtful expression. Ma Shi has prepared everything I asked for. Thinking of this, his whole body relaxed. Finally, I can begin. With that thought, he pivoted on his heel. With a powerful momentum, Zheng Tian advanced. Jujian Wushuang. First form Xianbu. Along with it, the teaching appeared. When you always advance with the sword, even high mountains cannot block your path. The more he thought, the more formidable his figure became. Beads of sweat rolled down his face. Second form Po Bing. No matter what kind of weapon blocks the way, all will be shattered. But along with that came an invisible pressure, weighing down on him. Zheng Tian clenched his teeth. The pressure is so intense I can barely stand it. But I must endure it. With that thought, he forcefully kicked the ball forward. It quickly bounced around the vast space, forming a dense blue net. Or, at the same time, a steel ball was about to hit Zheng Tian in the face. A thought flashed through his mind, third form Po Chi. Even if the enemy's Genchi is powerful, enough to shake the heavens and earth, it must all give way to this sword. But he couldn't look cool for more than 3 seconds. He was immediately attacked from behind by the ball. Zheng Tian's piercing scream echoed throughout the room. My back. But that didn't stop him. Next, as the mechanism was triggered, spikes descended from above. Zheng Tian remained unflinching as he executed fourth form Po Wu. There is no way to completely counter every type of martial art. But even the most complex martial arts all have their own weaknesses. A simple sword, in the end, can cut through everything. But life isn't like a dream. Zheng Tian was surprised. Not a single hit. While he was despairing, a miracle happened. Before he could be happy for 2 seconds, another wave of wooden logs came at him. To counter it, Zheng Tian growled, fifth form. Sha Jun, even if 1,000 troops and 10,000 horses charge at once, they will all submit to this blade? How can a swarm of ants defeat a... Facing true strength, numbers become meaningless. Before he could finish his last sentence, a log accidentally ruined his cool moment. An incredibly angry Zheng Tian. Damn it! To prove his ideals! He did not yield. Next. And then came a combo. Sixth form Yi Jian Po Yue. Even the moon reflected on the water's surface will be cut in 2 by this sword. But a doubtful voice rang out. That's all the candles you blew out, but not giving up. Zheng Tian continued, seventh form Yi Jian Po Di. Even the great earth must open a path for this blade. Once even the great earth has been split by me. What meaning does size have? Pausing for a moment, Zheng Tian was dumbfounded. Why is it still intact now? The sun was high in the sky, illuminating his final thoughts. Eighth form Po Tian. Even the sky will be torn when faced with my sword. So what in this world can I not cut? Despite his big talk, his blade had already fallen. With lingering thoughts. Ninth form Po Bao. Once I have cut through myself. And my sword? Then I no longer need a sword. Zheng Tian's eyes slowly closed. I can only barely replicate it. At this moment, a stream of memories flooded back. That is, the final form Po Bao. Have you memorized it well? A younger Zheng Tian replied naively, I've memorized it. But does such a half-baked sword style deserve to be called a martial art? He continued to question. That explanation is also really forced. Talking about cutting the sky and cutting the earth. And then in the end, cutting both the sword and oneself. It sounds like something a kid made up while he was delusional. His master helpless held his forehead. I can't deny that. But I can't let the ultimate technique of an old friend be lost. I was unable to inherit it completely, so you must carry it on for me. Speaking of this, he paused. He was the only swordsman who could match my sword. Zheng Tian asked, puzzled, without using Zhenqi. As a sort of explanation, his master said, I guess he uses body techniques, Shenfa. He said that someone who has already entered a sect cannot learn it perfectly. So he told me to pass it on to someone who has never joined any sect, Zheng Tian replied without hesitation. Body techniques, how pathetic. But in return for that disrespectful remark was a loving flick on the forehead. His master said coolly, if I say it is, so then it is so. Having no other choice, Zheng Tian nodded. All right. And then they continued their sword practice. His master's words kept echoing. When you have practiced this sword move 1,000 times, your body will change. Once you reach 100,000 times, your Zhenqi will naturally merge with the sword. Once you have swung it 1,000,000 times, I fear there will be few opponents left for you in this world. Those were his words. Zheng Tian heard this and asked innocently, if I practice 1,000 times a day, wouldn't that mean I'd be done in 3 years? Huh. Is this person really strong enough to match your martial arts? The master shook his head. I can't be sure either. But if we were to fight a life-or-death battle, one of us would surely have died. Hearing this, he relaxed and looked up at the sky, saying, I must admit, I'm also curious. I wonder what kind of person he is. Just when he thought he would get more answers, his servant interrupted him. Young master, Ma Shi was now concerned. Are you okay? I was worried because you wouldn't get up. Zheng Tian was angry. If you pat me one more time, I'll kill you. He started to sit up, rubbing his head and thinking. I passed out after just one practice session. 1,000 times is still a long way off. The road ahead is still long, Ma Shi continued. Even though it's late, you should still eat something. Zheng Tian looked at the food tray, puzzled. Isn't this pork? Ma Shi nodded in response. Didn't you say you wanted to eat meat yesterday? We haven't had meat in a long time. Please eat up. But Zheng Tian wasn't satisfied. Starting tomorrow, you must buy beef. Ma Shi asked, puzzled. Beef. Zheng Tian continued in a serious tone. Beef is the best for building physical strength. If we're short on silver, use the loan I took from the Bang Ho Man sect. I can always borrow more later. Tell the chief steward not to worry about the cost. Until the duel with Qing Daobao, I must have meat with all 3 of my daily meals. After hearing this, Ma Shu was still puzzled. By the way, young master, when did you learn martial arts like that? Hearing that, Zheng Tian asked back, is there a problem? At this point, his tone suddenly changed. If a useless bum like me suddenly started talking about learning martial arts, I'm sure you'd find it strange, too. Ma Shu then continued, I just find it strange. You never knew any martial arts before, and yet you suddenly defeated the Bang Ho Man guys with just a pair of chopsticks. And now you're practicing this bizarre sword style. Zheng Tian, having finished his meal, answered, I already told that other kid, so it's fine to tell you too. I am not Hua Wujin, the eldest son of the Hua family. My true identity is the demon god. Ma Shi only heard half of it before he started grumbling. I don't need to hear that nonsense. As he said this, his voice faltered. I'm just worried that you'll lose your memory again, change completely, and then one day just disappear. Ma Shi sobbed. You won't leave the Hua family, will you? Hearing this, Zheng Tian put his chopsticks down. His deep, warm voice rang out. I will never leave this family. Not until it becomes the #1 martial family in all of Sichuan. I'm determined not to go. Besides that, there's nothing else worth doing. Ma Shi questioned, the #1 martial family in all of Sichuan. Zheng Tian nodded and explained. That's right. The #1 martial family in all of Sichuan. At this moment, Ma Shi paid no mind to his master's hands and instead made a teasing remark. That's total bullshit. A flicking sound was heard on his forehead, followed by a lump appearing on his head. Zheng Tian paid Ma Shi no mind and gave an order. If you're done talking, you may leave. Ma Shi bowed very well. When he was alone, Zheng Tian fell silent. His thoughts began to flow. The #1 martial family in all of Sichuan. That should satisfy you, right? Hua Wujin scene change. An exquisitely prepared cup of tea is displayed. At this moment, a voice rang out. In 10 days, the duel between Qing Daobao and the young master of the Hua family will begin. Qing Daobao. As he said this, the old man picked up his teacup. He will definitely find a way to kill the young master of the Hua family. After that, he'll come here to seize the treasure of the Fire Emperor. Maybe we should flee before that happens. But the person opposite him disagreed. What are you trying to say? Think about it. At this, the man's expression darkened. We can't let those 2 kids die as well. Scene change. The sound of heavy breathing is heard. Zheng Tian dragged his exhausted body into the house. He gripped his sword tightly in his hand. After days of hard training with the sword, the muscles in my arm have started to show. It took great effort to reach the point where I can swing a 70-jin sword with just one hand, but my form is still unstable. There's only 1 week left before the duel. Suddenly, a voice called out, catching his attention. Brother Hua Wujin, are you still pushing yourself so hard? Zheng Tian looked at Qin Yu and Su Yan, asking probingly, what are you 2 kids doing here? It's dangerous. Go play somewhere else. Qin retorted. Well, we were just worried. For the past few days we've seen that you seem to be pushing yourself too hard. Are you doing all this? Because of what we said last time. Su Yan then began to sob. I was just really angry back then. I didn't mean it. Zheng Tian sighed to himself, geez, these two kids remind me of them. It's okay, don't worry about me. But Qin Yu was very excited. Anyway, your stance just now was amazing. It was like this, right? Su Yan off to the side criticized, no, that's not right. His arm was a little straighter. Zheng Tian smiled. Is he trying to imitate me? How cute. They remind me of the days I used to train with my master. Just like this. Hua Wu Jin, when you swing the sword, exhale for as long as possible. Slow down, don't rush when returning to your initial stance. You must take a short breath in. Slowly, do you understand? At this, he paused in thought. That's right. The most crucial element of the 9 peerless swords is the breathing technique. I had forgotten what my master taught me. Thinking this, Zheng Tian smiled and said, don't worry. I'll win no matter what. So hurry back to your rooms and rest. It'll be fine, right? I guess so. The two children stared silently as the door closed. Then they smiled unconsciously. Scene cuts to outside. A thought rings out as he swings the sword. Exhale for as long as possible. Keep the rhythm, don't rush. When returning to the initial stance, take a short, slow breath in. 5th form. Slaying the army. Focus all the accumulated true qi and unleash it all at once. This is the feeling. Zheng Tian opened his mouth and took a deep breath. A movement technique. A key cultivation technique. It uses body movements to accumulate internal energy, unlike other key cultivation methods that involve sitting meditation. Movement techniques are considered a lower form of martial arts, because the world has no expectations for them. The most important part of a movement technique is, his eyes lit up, a stable breathing method. It's not like before, when every swing of the sword was difficult, and I breathed in rhythm with the sword, to maintain my stance. After training like this many times, my dantian, which had been in turmoil for so long, gradually began to condense. And after every practice session, he would eat beef to replenish his nutrients. Cut to Ma Shi's side. A man's voice asked, is young Master Hua still training? Ma Shi turned and replied, yes. He's a completely different person now. Before he used to collapse frequently, but not anymore. I think perhaps the treatment from the Wudang sect practitioner is actually working. But the person opposite him thought to himself, even with the medical skills of a Wudang healer, it couldn't have caused such a drastic improvement after just one treatment. But the man didn't find it appropriate to say so, he just waved his hand. If there are any problems, let me know. Ma Shi hurried to reply. Yes, sir. But behind him the man's eyes turned vicious. Scene changed to Zheng Tian's courtyard. Ma Shi cheerfully announced, young master dinner is... But his words got stuck in his throat because of the sight before him. Ready. Zheng Tian, however, didn't care as he was busy complaining about the room. It's too small. At this point he sighed. This place is too small for me to practice, I just said it. From now on I will use the martial arts hall for training. Scene changes to the next morning at the training ground. 2 menacing-looking thugs appear on camera. Zheng Tian casually looked at them. Then he yelled, someone's already here! Ma Shi also added, gentlemen, the young master wishes to use the main martial arts hall. Hearing this, their faces fell, but the response was a sword being stabbed into the ground. You heard me right. I need to borrow the training hall. I want to practice by myself. I need the space. There's another place over there. You can just use that spot. The group of men was seething with anger. What the hell is this walking corpse saying? Having a sword in hand doesn't make you a martial artist. He's never even drawn blood with that blade. Seeing this, Zheng Tian taunted them. My, your glare is quite provocative. At that moment, one man stepped forward, even if you are the young master. But he was stopped by someone. That man was from the Hua family, captain of the Cold Sword Squad, Tai Boran. He spoke up. Sir, let's go. The young master wants to practice. The men talked amongst themselves as they left. Looks like he's lost his mind again. But the men hadn't gone far when Zheng Tian shouted, Hey, you slowpoke, stop right there. The man looked at him angrily. Zheng Tian then unleashed his demonic side. If you've got something to say it to my face. Talking behind someone's back is an extremely cowardly act. The captain spoke up. So what? Zheng Tian was unfazed. What do you think? We are swordsmen. He pointed his blade at the man's face, along with a sharp-edged word, fight. The atmosphere at that moment grew heavy. The captain looked at him contemptuously. Young Master Hua. Even if the sky were to fall, no one would dare draw their sword to fight. The man who will one day become the family head. Zheng Tian's voice was low. You know what they say? A dog that bites doesn't bark. A barking dog is just scared. If you don't have the guts to act tough, then don't bark in the first place. Just live like the cowardly dog you are. The man angrily gripped the hilt of his sword and spoke in a challenging tone. Don't regret this. Zheng Tian smirked. I've never been one to have regrets in my life. The captain drew his weapon as a signal. Ma Shi covered his face in fear, unable to watch. Zheng Tian calmly watched the man draw his weapon, while the observers in the courtyard were all tense. He smirked coldly, completely unafraid as he took his stance. Unexpectedly, as the captain threw away his scabbard, Zheng Tian also slammed his greatsword into the ground. His body nimbly jumped up to dodge the attack. He even easily touched the back of the man's neck. The onlookers were horrified. A duel without using swords. What kind of move was that? By now he had dodged another of the enemy's moves. Ma Shi could only break out in a cold sweat, not daring to watch anymore. By now the captain was about to lose his patience. Young Master Hua, stop dodging. Pick up your sword and fight like a man. Zheng Tian's expression turned serious. Fine. He landed and touched the hilt of his greatsword. The man still spoke with a contemptuous look. I have been in this Hua family for 25 years. The sight of the family's decline to this state is all your fault. Zheng Tian said nothing, just gently lifted his sword. The captain's words were filled with resentment. And now you suddenly want to learn martial arts? Immediately the man charged forward with his sword. You should know your place. The two forces clashed like thunder. A strong fighting spirit flashed in his eyes. 9 peerless swords. Second form. The sound of metal clashing sent out sparks, armor breaker, and this one clash sent a shock through the captain. Stumbling back, the man thought in disbelief, what? This shock has thrown the true chi in my body into chaos. On the other side, Zheng Tian had already thrown a punch. You're right, but this one punch directly shattered the captain's nose. Critical hit, causing the man to feel a heavy defeat. The captain heard him say, from now on things will be different. His last thought before falling down was one of disbelief. His eyes are different from before. The man saw a completely unfamiliar expression on Zheng Tian. Suddenly, the captain understood that he was now filled with determination. Those are the eyes of a martial artist. The subordinates all stared in disbelief. Did young Master Hua win? A few of them rushed over. Sir, are you okay, sir? He leaned his greatsword heavily on the ground, a victorious smile on his face as he asked, now you don't have any more complaints, right? A foolish subordinate yelled, that was a cowardly move. Captain T. Bowron couldn't have actually hurt you. And yet you used... The man sat up and shouted, shut up! Then Bowron said, defeated and panting, I lost. When those words were spoken, the sunlight seemed to shine even brighter. The man cupped his hands in a respectful bow before Zheng Tian. Completely convinced, he said, I have learned from you. He didn't intend to press the issue further. All right, you are dismissed. Bowron respectfully replied, yes, sir. Then Zheng Tian waved his hand. Everyone moved to another training hall. The guards obeyed and did as they were told. He then said to Ma Shi behind him, you too. By now the sky had gradually turned to dusk. The subordinate angrily cursed, I know he's the young master, but wasn't that going too far? Why did you go easy on him? Bowron calmly replied, who said I went easy on him? I intended to leave him half dead. But, he stammered in disbelief. Are you serious? The man emphasized, do I look like I'm joking? The subordinate stammered, no. Bowron paused, I don't know what happened, but it seems our young master, he recalled his appearance, has improved by leaps and bounds. Ma Shi behind them was secretly astonished. What since when could he? Bowron put his hands on his hips and sighed in relief. Anyway, his changing like this is a good thing, right? Perhaps so. That evening at the Hua family's ancestral hall, Hanfeng pensively gazed at the night sky. The person behind him asked slowly, a duel with the Tsinghua Merchant Guild. Elder Zhao, do you know how long we've been in this sect? He calmly replied, about 37 years? Steward Du reminisced, that's a long time. In their memories, the Fire Emperor in his youth was truly incredible. He appeared and performed martial arts with his bare hands, so much so that even the arrogant Tang family had to admit it was magnificent. The old man clasped his hands and whispered, we were both captivated by his brilliance, and swore eternal loyalty to him. Huanfeng was deep in thought. And yet now, we are looking for a way to betray that oath. Steward Du gently countered, that is not what we are doing. We must find a way to resolve this bloodline issue. Hearing this, he turned back, I know very well. You don't need to try and convince me. 17 years, that's how long. We've been dealing with the madness of young Master Hua. Not only that, but for those 17 years, we also had to watch the Yan Hua family decline along with young Master Hua. Even if we were to meet the Fire Emperor in the underworld, I'm sure that he wouldn't blame us. Anyway, have you finished preparing? The old man replied with satisfaction. Of course, we just need a little silver to relocate elsewhere. Besides that, we just need a few martial artists and 4 travel permits. Steward Du's eyes narrowed slightly in thought. Then he said abruptly, you go on ahead. Huanfeng paused. You? The old man laid out the plan. He is, after all, his blood relative. Someone needs to help his body recover. A martial artist from the Yunzhong sect, hired by the Tsinghua Merchant Guild, will appear as a witness for the duel. The man was shocked. A witness. That's practically a blatant robbery. The old man affirmed, that shows how seriously they are taking this matter. The Tsinghua Merchant Guild, those despicable scoundrels. They won't leave a single trace of this place behind. You go to the meeting point first and wait for me. The two kids will surely be deeply shocked by all of this. The morning of the scheduled duel arrived. Zheng Tian's grumbling voice was heard. I think the meat has been too tough lately. Is it just me? Mashi said bluntly. The cheap cuts of beef are naturally always tough. He promptly bonked him on the head. Are we out of money? Mashi held back his frustration and replied, I don't know. The steward gave me too little silver. Zheng Tian grumbled, Are you crazy? He calmly replied, I don't get mad over little things like that. He gritted his teeth. Oh, really? You just said something that makes me want to beat you up. Huh. Finally. Zheng Tian slammed his chopsticks down on the table. He puffed out his chest with pride. Anyway, how does my outfit look today? Mashi said with a deadpan expression. I'm not sure, but I think you'd look better covered in bandages. So without hesitation, he gave him another bonk. Let's go. As Zheng Tian slung the greatsword over his shoulder, someone suddenly asked, Are you really going? His eyes turned annoyed. Don't tell me you came to advise me to run away, or some other nonsense. Steward Du stroked his beard. Of course not. Zheng Tian shrugged. I knew it. Then wait. I'm going to give those scoundrels a good beating. Unexpectedly, the old man clasped his hands and said, I will go with you. This sentence brought the atmosphere to a standstill. He sighed to himself, this old man worries too much. Anyway, I'm going to beat my opponent to a pulp. As expected, old people are always fussy. Zheng Tian didn't object and waited. The great gates opened. A brilliant light shone, as if leading to a completely different future. He maintained a calm, unshaken demeanor. Then he took firm steps and left. Let's go. The voice of a bookie was heard. A duel between the Tsinghua Merchant Guild and the Huohua family. Anyone who wants to bet, place your bets now. Someone asked, what are the odds? The man fumbled and replied, let's see. At most, it's about 1 to 4. The customer thought with interest. Looks like it's worth a shot. The bookie explained, for a martial artist, of course. Betting on the family of the martial world is wiser than trusting a merchant guild. Another customer heard this and agreed. Then I'll bet 2 silver taels on the Huohua family. Just then someone shouted loudly, the young master of the Huohua family is here. A majestic figure appeared before everyone. It was Zheng Tian holding a stick of candied haws. The crowd was stunned. Can I cancel the 2 silver tael bet I just made on the Huohua family? He, however, was still enjoying his snack. See, I told you I wouldn't be late, Du. The steward reminded him awkwardly. But eating so much, right before a duel is a bit much. Suddenly a flash of red swept past. A graceful figure greeted them. Long time no see, hasn't it? Chu Yan showed a look of contempt. Out of respect for our blood ties, I'll ask you again. Do you really want to go through with this duel? These words caused a stir among the customers. What? It was the Huohua family who first demanded the duel. They clearly aren't qualified, yet they dared to be so reckless. Look how crazy he is. Maybe the rumors are true. Zheng Tian casually chewed on his candy, thinking, listening to her. It's as if I was the one who demanded the duel. Looks like I'll have to settle this debt. He pointed the candy stick straight at her face. We can't let the Tsinghua Merchant Guild get their hands on the martial arts manual of the Huohua family. So we have no choice but to risk our lives and fight. Don't you think so? Chu Yan adopted a soft, weak tone. What? Are you saying a merchant guild would dare to covet the secret martial techniques of a martial family? How could a renowned family like Tsinghua, young Master Daobao, I really don't understand what's going on here anymore. Her eyes flashed with killing intent again. I wonder how much longer you can keep that calm expression. At this moment, the torches in the arena were lit. A person's shout drew the crowd's attention. Everyone, please pay attention. The witness for today's duel is Han Yikang of the Kongdong sect. Immediately, the man also stood up, clenched his fists, and observed everyone. Yikang shouted loudly, the next successor of the Tsinghua Merchant Guild, Dao Bao and the young master of the Huohua family Wu Jin, in the name of the Kongdong sect, the 2 sides shall fight a fair duel. Openly and honorably, Dao Bao laughed mockingly. Looks like you've received the goods that our merchant guild sent over. Zheng Tian was confused. Goods? He laughed menacingly. The outfit you're wearing, that is the martial uniform of the Huohua family. I personally sent it over, as a gift, to welcome back young Master Wu Jin. He calmly drew the greatsword from his back. Is that so? When this duel is over, all the remaining goods will have to be returned as well. At this, the audience was shocked. The Huohua family chose to use a sword. With such a large and heavy sword, can he really perform sword techniques? Isn't the Fire Emperor famous for his superb, bare-handed fist and palm techniques? Steward Du was also curious. Masha, did the young master say anything else strange? The boy answered timidly, Well, this morning I advised the young master to run away, and he flew into a rage. The old man was helpless. You advised him to run away, too. Masha gritted his teeth in frustration. I was just joking when I said it. As for me, I firmly believe that my young master will definitely win. But maybe running away would be better. I don't know. Things will be different, because the young master has changed. But that change, can it really happen so quickly? By now, Steward Du had completely given up on reacting. Could the young master's madness have spread to him? The referee holding a gong mallet asked loudly, "Are both sides ready?" Zheng Tian calmly closed his eyes. He held his greatsword at chest level, taking his stance. Dao Bao, however, smirked smugly. Hearing the call, "If you are ready," the sound of the gong immediately rang out. Then let the duel begin. In a flash, his figure had already lunged forward to attack. He instinctively dodged to the side. He was just a hair's breadth from being hit. The audience was shocked. "He's so fast!" Even the people from the Hua family stared in disbelief. Someone whispered, asking, "Didn't they say?" That young Master Hua was once severely insane and had never learned martial arts. Then where did that strength come from? Dao Bao, hearing all the chatter, gritted his teeth in anger. He immediately charged forward. Even so, that skill of his is just child's play. But Zheng Tian's greatsword was no slower. In just a few seconds, the sound of metal clashing rang out fiercely. Sparks flew, like fireworks with each clash. Their silhouettes were still evenly matched. His eyes showed not a hint of wavering. Just like that, they had exchanged several blows without stopping. In an instant, sword met sword, eyes met eyes. The fight was so exciting that the audience cheered continuously. Up above, Chu Yan frowned. How surprising. This Wu Jin guy managed to hold out longer than I thought. However, compared to the martial arts that Dao Bao has cultivated for years, his skill is nothing. Just as the thought finished, he barely dodged a blow. Zheng Tian's greatsword was massive yet agile. It constantly forced Dao Bao to dodge. As he attacked, he immediately spun to gain momentum, lightly jumping up to dodge his move. Then, Dao Bao attacked again without hesitation. Zheng Tian's face was grim as he watched him warily. Dao Bao thought with determination, "Wu Jin, this time I will cripple you." Breaking a man's will, a dangerous glint appeared in his eyes, "is my specialty." Immediately, the two charged at each other again. The atmosphere was tense enough to be suffocating. Steward Du crossed his arms deep in thought. "I thought young Master Hua would be taken down instantly, but it seems he's holding up pretty well." Moshi was just as surprised. Although I don't know the details, he probably hasn't revealed his full strength yet. The old man heard this and was astonished. "What are you suddenly talking about?" He affirmed, "I've secretly watched him train hard alone. Perhaps a terrifying and even greater power will explode on the stage." Zheng Tian was a bit thoughtful. "Looking at the current state of our martial arts, mine is on par with his. Could it be that that short period of time wasn't enough?" He calmly wiped the sweat from his face. "But it doesn't matter. So far, no matter how strong the opponent, I've always ended up killing them all." It seemed that unconsciously, they both shared the same goal. This bastard. Whether it was the young master of the Merchant Guild family or young Master Hua, they fought for their ultimate desire. I will kill him no matter what. And at the same time, their vision narrowed to only their opponent. A slow voice sounded near the pavilion. "From that shabby tent, go east for 5 li. Turn at the side path and find a hawthorn tree. Then continue for another 3 li. The person who arrived was Huan Feng following a map. He breathed a sigh of relief. I finally made it. Luckily, the 2 children were fast asleep, so bringing them was easy. Back to the dawn of the duel day, Huan Feng asked sadly. "But are you really not coming with me?" Butler Du calmly clasped his hands behind his back. After all, he is still that person's bloodline. At the very least, someone must be there to collect his remains. "I will personally see young Master Hua off on his final journey." He didn't insist further. "Very well, we'll go first. See you at the designated place." Thinking back now, Huan Feng sighed. "I'm not even sure if this was the right or wrong thing to do anymore." Back at the extremely tense fighting stage, the continuous rounds of fighting had given the spectators pause. At the same time, Zheng Tian also pondered. Although Dao Bao is young, he's really no joke. But in the end, he's still just a greenhorn. In everyone's eyes, he was keeping the situation balanced. The spectators watched them intently, buzzing with discussion. So how can those two be in a stalemate, so evenly matched? It seems young Master Hua even has the upper hand. I heard the 2 young masters of the Tsinghua Merchant Guild were once outer disciples of the Kongtong sect, but it looks like they're nothing special. Meanwhile, Dao Bao himself was starting to feel tired. He lifted his foot into a stance, preparing to use his ultimate move. Butler Du and the other man shouted in alarm, "Young Master Hua, get out of the way." But Chu Yan was about to fail at holding back a smug smile. Zheng Tian fearlessly took his stance. 9 peerless swords first form immortal wind step. In an instant, the piercing sound of clashing swords rang out. The spectators gasped in shock. They saw his confident smile. He blocked it. On the other side, Dao Bao couldn't be optimistic. He unleashed his power and instantly both were pushed back. While Zheng Tian remained calm and smiling, Dao Bao already felt a sense of helplessness. Damn it, this lunatic! A powerful qi radiated from his body. The old man frowned, realizing the young master of Qing was gathering all his internal energy. Not only that, but everyone thought that must be his final move, but he just stepped forward and charged. Too slow. Even the way you gather your internal energy is sluggish. That sight startled Dao Bao. The moment the great sword descended, it was also the moment of the 9 peerless swords, second form breaking the vase. It instantly shattered his technique, forcing Dao Bao to brace himself. Am I this helpless against his attack? How he couldn't believe it as Zheng Tian kept attacking, completely tireless. Those relentless blows caused cracks to appear on Dao Bao's sword. He gritted his teeth and endured. Am I losing to this piece of trash who doesn't even have a dantian? This loser? Then Dao Bao's sword couldn't take it anymore and broke in two. And he directly slashed Dao Bao's arm. For a moment he couldn't react. What? Quick as lightning. Zheng Tian lifted his leg and kicked Dao Bao hard in the chest. A single kick sent his enemy flying far away, landing near the edge of the fighting stage. His arm was gone and his weapon was too. Chu Yan screamed in disbelief, Dao Bao! Butler Du and the other man gasped, their eyes wide, unable to process what happened. Someone stammered. Did young Master Hua win? Zheng Tian picked up the severed arm, pointing it straight at her. I'm taking this as payment for the blood feud of the past 17 years. Chu Yan's face darkened and she trembled as she spoke. What did you just say? He glanced over coldly. Since you belong to the Qinghua Merchant Guild, they'll probably find a way to reattach your arm. From above, Yikong leaped down onto the stage, landing beside Dao Bao's body to check on him. He placed a hand on his chest, channeling his energy to feel. Then he announced, his dantian has also been shattered. Yikong looked over with some disapproval. Did you really need to go this far? Zheng Tian frowned, hefting his greatsword. What are you talking about? He pointed out the obvious gap in their martial skill. It was clear that the duel was actually decided long ago. He raised an eyebrow. If you're going to say that, I have plenty to say as well. Did you really need to use the 7 injuries fist? On a 5-year-old child, who knew no martial arts at all. This is just the end of a blood feud, from 17 years ago. From now on, you all will pay the price, for daring to provoke the Huohua family. After speaking, Zheng Tian turned away. You'd better prepare yourselves. Chu Yan's body went limp and she collapsed to her knees. She was still full of hatred, clenching her fists until her veins bulged. Tears of regret fell. Wu Qin? I will never forget this humiliation. The spectators couldn't believe it. Then, cheers erupted throughout the training grounds. They were buzzing, shocked that he had crushed an outer disciple of the Kong Tong sect in just a few moves. Moreover, that swordsmanship was something they had never seen before. A new peerless master has been born. Butler Du and the other man ran to greet him. Young Master Hua. And Zheng Tian calmly walked past them. Let's return to the residence. The old man timidly replied, yes. Butler Du stared in astonishment at the person ahead. Young Master Hua's back. When did it become so broad? Suddenly his calm voice rang out. Butler Du. The older man started and said yes. Zheng Tian smiled cryptically. About that matter, Butler Du broke out in a cold sweat. Could it be that the young master knew all along we were planning to escape? But to his surprise, he pretended to bring up something else. The gold I gave you, have you spent it all already? The old man quickly clasped his hands and said with a smile, of course not. There's still a little left. Zheng Tian was satisfied to hear that. I might have to pay another visit to the Banghu sect about money matters. The meat hasn't been tasting so good these past few days. He suddenly paused. And one more thing. Regarding Elder Zhao and the other martial artists, I didn't really care if they chose to leave the family. But if they dare to separate me from my 2 biological siblings, then they'll have to bet their own lives on it. At that moment outside the courtyard, Huan Feng was about to flee. The 2 children were angry. Today is Big Brother's duel day. How could you do this? This time I definitely can't forgive you. He quickly pleaded, wait, let me read the message that just came by pigeon. But as soon as he glanced at it, Huan Feng froze. Shit. We're screwed. A few urgent lines were written on it. Young Master Hua, the escape plan has been exposed. Return immediately. In an empty courtyard, Zheng Tian said thoughtfully, by the way, speaking of money, perhaps it's time to settle some debts. Butler Du didn't understand. Settle debts. He explained, I'm talking about those bastards from the Banghu sect. It's time I settled the score with them. Don't you think so? Leave everything to me, Butler Du. You just need to rest. But this still made the old man worry. The recent duel proved that the young master is completely different now. Before the old man would have stammered with worry, but his heart was still not at ease. Zheng Tian crossed his arms, displeased. Old man, you worry too much. Butler Du broke out in a cold sweat. In any case, I beg you, young master, do not get involved with the Susha sect, he replied, annoyed. I know you're a broken record. All right, I'm leaving. So the old man could only watch him leave. Moshe followed, asking young master, are you really going straight to the Banghu sect? Zheng Tian explained decisively. Troublesome matters only get more complicated the longer you wait. Just deal with it and get it over with. From now on, you stick close behind Big Brother, got it? He said shyly and awkwardly. Yes, understood, Big Brother, huh? The place they arrived at was the Banghu sect's loan business. Zhong Bao frowned. You really came? He thought to himself that he never expected to see him again. He never thought he would be the one to turn the two young masters of the Tsinghua Merchant Guild into cripples. He said calmly, I'm here to pay my debt. It's quiet here. Did your business go bankrupt? Zhong Bao stammered, not exactly. It's just that most of the gamblers in Sichuan went to watch the young masters duel. Zheng Tian drew out his words. Oh, is that so? They all went to watch me fight, huh? I bet you guys also set up odds and took bets on my match, didn't you? They quickly panicked and bowed their heads. Our apologies. We meant no disrespect. He mused. However, I'm guessing the odds were in my favor, right? Thanks to that, you guys must have raked in quite a pretty penny, huh? The man could only tell the truth. Yes, that's right. His heart was already in turmoil. Don't tell me he's really... Zheng Tian got straight to the point. Thanks to me, you all made a nice profit, right? Are you planning to just stay quiet and act like nothing happened? Zhong Bao gritted his teeth. Damn it! Is he trying to extort us again? But on the surface, he still smiled fawningly. Of course not. We were planning to thank you properly. He owed. Is that so? Zheng Tian sat down arrogantly. Good, I like the sound of that. The man frowned, secretly observing him. He's completely different from before. The aura around him is cold yet steady. A true martial artist, one who hides a terrifying killing intent. He suddenly asked, All right, so where's your boss? Zhong Bao stammered. Why do you want to see him? Zheng Tian didn't answer, but threatened. I don't like to ask a second time. Before he could say more, a figure appeared. If you don't talk, I will. He was the Banghu sect's leader, Weng Ge. He smirked mockingly. What's with the octopus head? You're the sect leader. He observed him with a cold voice. My men told me about you. He appeared nonchalant. I just wanted to have a few words. Why make things so difficult? It's not like your face is anything to look at. And is the kid behind you your lackey? Instantly the man's aura flared. Ziying of the Susha sect, he arrogantly scolded. Quite the mouth on you. You little brat, so you're the one who's been eyeing my property. Zheng Tian frowned. He's from the Susha sect. Then he spoke unhappily. Who gave you permission to interrupt when adults are talking? Are you looking to die? The man flashed a grotesque and disdainful smile. In a flash, he rushed forward to attack. Well then, come and try to kill me. Moshe cried out in alarm. Young master. He just calmly picked up a chopstick. Whether it's the Susha sect or anyone else, if you stand in my way. Treating it like a dart, he threw it. You'll get a hole pierced through your body. It instantly punctured a hole in Ziying's hand, forcing him to retreat hastily, not daring to make another move. Ziying sneered, I thought you were just a loud-mouthed brat. Who knew you weren't some nobody? He cracked his knuckles. You dare pierce my hand with a chopstick, you bastard? Interesting, Zheng Tian mocked. Hearing that from a wrinkly old man like you isn't scary at all. But these words enraged Ziying, who attacked. Don't be so arrogant. But he just leaped up lightly to evade. Then he reappeared behind his enemy. Where are you looking, you bastard? He immediately spun around to attack, but Zheng Tian still dodged it unexpectedly. Ziying was somewhat terrified. What a mere kid. Dodged my attack so easily. But then a chopstick was right next to his eye. Let me add another hole for you. The sound of piercing was sharp and bitter. It made the onlookers gasp in horror. He calmly looked down at his enemy. Feel the breeze through your new hole, is it nice? Ziying roared. It hurts, you bastard. You dare to touch someone from the Susha sect. My sect will not let you go. Zheng Tian felt bored. Is that so? He stomped on his injured eye as the man screamed. Your entire family and your subordinates. None of you will escape. Zheng Tian laughed coldly. The Susha sect tell them to come. If they dare, as for you, you die here. Ziying was now terrified. Wait, I'll give you all my wealth. Beautiful women, as many as you want. Please spare my life. He raised an eyebrow. Only now you're afraid to die. Zheng Tian slowly withdrew his foot. His calm voice rang out. I'm not interested in your beautiful women, but the wealth you mentioned that I'm interested in. The man quickly shouted, It's all in Dayang. I'll bring it all back for you. He smiled slightly. That's more like it. But if you don't come back, and if you're not careful, the wind might just whistle through those holes in your face. Ziying trembled violently. I'll be right back. Having dealt with that, Zheng Tian looked over at Weng Ge. Now his face seemed to carry killing intent. Let's continue settling our debts, shall we? He quickly knelt down. Spare me too. He owed. You want to be spared too? Wenga knew what was good for him. I will offer you all of my assets. Zheng Tian tightened his grip on the chopstick, displeased. What nonsense are you spouting? Those assets were already mine to begin with. He trembled. What are you talking about? His voice rang out like a judge's sentence. The silver you extorted from the common people, 7,000 gold taels, plus the lives of so many people, that you destroyed while manipulating the martial arts sects. By my calculation, that's about equal to your entire fortune, wouldn't you say? Wenga stammered, then I'll offer everything even... But then the chopstick pierced through his head. Don't you understand what people are saying? It was already mine, so what's the point of offering it again? The other men stared in horror at the scene. Zheng Tian turned to look at them. After him, who holds the highest rank? Zhongbao quickly ran forward. I am the vice sect master. He glanced at him. You interesting. I didn't think it would be you. He knelt down and shouted, that's right, please spare my life. I swear if I'm given a chance I will live an honest life. I won't dare harm anyone again. And yet he actually sat down calmly. All right, you get to live. So how much are the dead guy's assets worth? Zhongbao stammered an answer. His houses? Brothels and silver combined are about 4,000 gold taels. Zheng Tian asked casually. And what are the total assets of the Banghu sect? The man didn't dare to hide anything, including all subsidiary businesses, at least 10,000 gold taels. In addition, there's a 500 tael tribute to the Susha sect. Zheng Tian thought for a moment. Let's see, the Banghu sect leader has 4,000 gold taels. The profits from all the businesses naturally belong to me. The total assets of the Banghu sect are 10,000 taels. The tribute to the Susha sect is 500 taels, plus compensation for emotional distress. The total comes to about 20,000 gold taels. That seems fair enough. After hearing this, Zhongbao quickly replied, I will prepare it immediately. I'll bring the transfer deeds right away. He nodded in satisfaction. Good, handle all this paperwork, gold and silver, on the spot. The man quickly obeyed. Yes, young master. Zheng Tian's voice echoed like a death knell. Now then, let's discuss how much the lives of the rest of you are worth. I said I would spare him, but I never said I would spare you. All the subordinates fell to their knees begging for their lives. Later, Butler Du had to gape at the sight before him. He stared in shock at the pile of chests. What is all this? He answered nonchalantly. Just the spoils from settling some debts. Each chest contains about 400 gold taels. Butler Du trembled as he looked at the gleaming pile of money. Young Master Hua, I've told you before. Who backs the Banghu sect, right? He smiled calmly. You said it was the Susha sect. The old man broke out in a cold sweat. So do you know who they're allied with? Zheng Tian shrugged. Why would I need to know? Butler Du yelled in terror. Zhu Sikang of the Red Sword sect is a sworn brother. To the two men Ziying and Qi Ziying of the Susha sect, his face darkened. Ziying. Oh, you mean the guy with 10 blackened fingertips? The old man jumped. You've met him already, Zheng Tian said lightly. I stuck chopsticks in both of his eyes. Butler Du was completely stunned. What? He spoke slowly. Old Du, an opponent of that level, I'm afraid even you. And old Elder Zhao would have a hard time dealing with. But don't apply your limits to me. If someone like that dares to come looking for trouble, I'll just kill them all and that's that. Anyway, prepare some tender beef for me tonight. Remember to serve dinner to my family when they return. Having arranged things, he turned his back and waved. I'm heading inside, leaving the old man dumbfounded. That Ziying is famous throughout Sichuan. Everyone fears the sound of his name. And yet the young master thinks nothing of him. It was the same during the duel. Is this person really the young Master Hua that I once knew? Night fell. Somewhere someone spoke. Ambush the Hua family? It seems you still haven't digested the results of the duel. From that day, head of the Qinghua Merchant Guild, Chuyan said coldly. You're just a hired hand. You talk too much. As I said, just bring one child back alive. As for the rest, kill them if you want. Remember that child must not die. The other person acknowledged the order. Understood. Before sunrise, we will return. She forcefully placed a game piece. Wu Qin, I will tear apart everything you hold dear. Right before your eyes. There was a time when the Hua family also had its glorious era. A man hailed as the Fire Emperor once earned the respect of countless martial artists throughout the land. The training grounds back then were packed. Everyone squeezed together just to catch a glimpse of him. Even the renowned Tang clan of Sichuan had to praise his character and martial prowess. Within a single generation, the Hua family became a great family that no one in the martial world dared to underestimate. Even the masters, famous throughout this martial world, didn't dare to slight the people of the Hua family. There was a time when the people of Sichuan City cheered wildly whenever members of the Hua family passed through the streets. But after the Fire Emperor passed away during the succession ceremony for the new family head, the incompetence of the new head was exposed to the world. The Hua family gradually declined. Even the most loyal followers left them one by one. The image of the Fire Emperor, the man who once shook the world. To the Orthodox sects, he was a noble and magnanimous hero, but in the eyes of his enemies he was a ferocious demon king, a peerless martial artist who struck terror into people's hearts. That man was truly extraordinary and peerless. Butler Du thought blankly. Why did the back of the departing young master? 'Cause the image of the Fire Emperor of old to overlap in my mind. As he was lost in thought, someone called out, "Butler." Butler Du turned in surprise. "Why are only you here? Where are the young master and young miss?" The subordinate reported in a panic. "The assassins. The assassins from the Tsinghua Merchant Guild have ambushed us. Elder Huanfeng and the other martial artists are fighting for their lives. To hold them off, but there are too many enemies. The young master and young miss are in danger." The old man immediately gave an order. "Inform young Master Hua immediately. I will go there first." The two subordinates quickly replied, "Yes, Butler." Elsewhere in a bamboo forest, Huanfeng was struggling to hold on. An enemy's cold voice rang out, "So, you're the only ones left. I won't kill all of you, think carefully. If you struggle any further, those kids will die with you." He shouted in anger, "You bastards!" Huanfeng fought alone against a crowd of assassins. Just then someone knocked the saber from an enemy's hand. The agile fan flew back into Butler Du's hand. He gave his comrade a sharp look. "Fall back, don't be reckless." The assassins roared in anger. "What? Another arrogant one shows up? Kill him." Unexpectedly, Butler Du was not at a disadvantage at all. He quickly came to the rescue. The leader shouted as he fought, "So they only sent one rotten old man like this?" But the old man glided past lightly, easily striking their pressure points. Just as he stopped, he suddenly had an uneasy feeling. Huanfeng cried out in alarm, "Be careful!" It turned out an assassin had already closed in on Butler Du. In the nick of time, the old man dodged. "Damn it!" At the same time, the assassins swarmed forward like ants. Butler Du could only raise his fan to block a blow. His opponent shouted a signal, "We'll handle this side. Keep one kid alive, kill the rest." The old man gritted his teeth in fury. "You animals!" That man was in a frenzy. "Die and get out of my sight." Caught off guard, Butler Du was injured. The assassin took the opportunity with delight. This is it, the fateful moment. He delivered a savage blow, striking the old man down. Butler Du could only fall weakly to the ground. Now between these two brats, which one should I kill and which one should I spare? Suyan trembled, looking at her brother shielding her. "Dao Jin." But the assassin showed no mercy, looking at the boy. "So that's what you want? Then you'll be the one to die." Then someone appeared just in time, gathering chi in his dantian. He roared directly, making the whole group freeze. "Stop right there." A crimson figure suddenly stood out in the night forest. The assassin suddenly recognized his appearance. "That guy, is that the madman Wu Qin?" Zheng Tian was running towards them like the wind. The assassins discussed, killing Wu Qin shouldn't be a problem. Right, if he gets in the way, kill him too. So they foolishly charged forward. "You won't live to see another sunrise, Wu Qin." He didn't say a word, just powerfully hefted his sword. With a single strike, he split the assassin's weapon in two. Then the blade descended, ending his life instantly. In the final moment of his life, the assassin still couldn't believe it. But Zheng Tian had already charged on. Another one stammered in terror. "What the hell?" They shouted to each other. "All of you charge and kill him!" Now, seeing this group of enemies, he just calmly raised his sword. Ninth absolute sword, fifth form, decapitating the army. In a flash, he had cut them all in two. At that moment, they could never have imagined their lives would end like this. The survivor had gone mad. He screamed, slashing aimlessly. But Zheng Tian's eyes remained incredibly calm. With one strike, he sent the assassin's head flying. Another man trembled, seeing his comrades die like flies. "This monster!" But before he could react, his arm was gone too. He looked at the screaming assassin. "Don't move a single finger, if you want to live." Zheng Tian's eyes were clearly filled with rage. He looked towards his family, who were injured and terrified. Suyan had been covering her eyes since the slaughter began. Curiously, she wanted to move her hands away. The little girl stared blankly at her brother, Yujin. Daojin quickly covered his sister's eyes. "Don't look." Suyan asked, bewildered, "What brother, you're Yujin, right? Did he beat all the bad guys?" The boy shouted in panic, "I told you not to look!" Zheng Tian slowly approached the two. "Are you all right?" Daojin stammered. I'm okay." He comforted them. "You two must have been terrified." The boy bravely held back his tears. "No way. After all, I'm the son of a martial arts clan." Zheng Tian gently placed a hand on the boy's head and ruffled his hair. His face was filled with nothing but tenderness. "Good, you're good kids." Zheng Tian turned. and gave an order, Elder Zhao. Take the wounded and the 2 children back to the estate. He quickly replied, yes, young master. Then he shouted to his subordinates, everyone take the injured to the infirmary. After arranging everything, he turned back to look at the assassin. Now, are you going to whine about that severed arm forever? You were sent by spies from the Tsinghua Merchant Guild, weren't you? If you answer truthfully, maybe I'll let you live. The man, as if grabbing a lifeline, was overjoyed. You'll really spare me. Zheng Tian threatened coolly. Don't make me repeat myself, or I can just kill all of you right here. The assassin confessed everything without hesitation. Yes, it was Chu Yan, the head of the Tsinghua Merchant Guild. She hired us through the Zilin Bang. You'll really let me live, right? He picked up the blade. If you don't want to die, go back and tell her this. Tell her exactly how Yujin of the Huohua clan slaughtered all of her subordinates. And tell her that Yujin will be coming for her next. On the road, countless people turned their heads to look and whisper, hey, look! Is that blood? Who is he? Who else could it be? It's the madman of the Huohua clan. Has his madness subsided? No, he looks even fiercer than before. Those words reached Zheng Tian's ears. Those who saw him walking along the road, covered in blood from head to toe, no longer dared to laugh or look down on him. Suddenly someone asked, but wait, I heard he single-handedly wiped out the entire Humeng gang. You mean those bastards? I heard he even crippled the 2 young masters of the Tsinghua Merchant Guild, paralyzing them. People used to call Yujin the mad young master. It's strange. When he was young, I heard even the Shaolin Temple sought him out, calling him a God-given prodigy. Could it be that his talent has reawakened, and now the world calls him the hidden dragon of the West Frost? Zheng Tian calmly opened the door and returned home. Immediately, hurried footsteps rushed out. Mo Shi, with tears in his eyes, threw himself forward. Young master, thank heavens. The young master can still walk on his own. Are you injured anywhere? He stopped him. I'm fine. More importantly, are they all in the medicine room? Mo Shi quickly replied, yes. No one escaped injury. The 2 young masters and young Miss Su Yan are recuperating in their rooms to restore their internal energy. Zheng Tian nodded in satisfaction. Good job. Prepare a bath for me immediately. He took the order. Yes, young master. Please wait a moment. By the time he was settled in the bath, night had fallen. Warm steam filled the room. He slowly breathed in, relaxing. But then he remembered the sight of his 2 siblings that afternoon. Zheng Tian's eyes slowly opened. Restoring true Qi-Hu, it sounds trivial. But for the children of a martial arts family, it's a luxury. Even so, I don't want those 2 to see the cruelty of this world so soon. If possible, I want them to see only the good things. Those 2 kids? Am I seeing the reflection of someone else in them? It seemed as though he could see his past life through the water. His face then grew solemn. He let his hand fall, splashing the water. Zheng Tian lifted his head and looked out the window. The next morning in the medicine room, Huan Feng cried out in alarm. What, the red flame heart method? He frowned, confused. Yes, that's the one. Why are you so alarmed? Did I say something I shouldn't have? The old man hesitated. May I ask why you are requesting that heart method? Zheng Tian, slightly annoyed, furrowed his brows. He smirked. Are you afraid I'll go mad again and rip it to shreds? Huan Feng countered. That's not it. Zheng Tian tried to explain patiently. You absolutely cannot teach the clan's secret martial arts at this time. Therefore, starting tomorrow, I will personally train those 2. I can tell from the look on your face that you doubt me. The old man stammered. Not at all, Zheng Tian said slowly. No need to worry, Elder Huan Feng. Nothing will happen. The old man could only accept. Yes, understood. He then presented a manual. Here is the heart method. He turned away satisfied. Good, I'm leaving. You 2 get some rest. The 2 men bowed respectfully. Take care, young master. Huan Feng sat back down on the bed. Is this really okay? Butler Du reassured him, don't worry too much. You saw how powerfully the young master wielded his sword, didn't you? Thanks to that power, we were able to get treated and recover so quickly. Lately, his madness has stopped, and both his body and mind have changed dramatically. Honestly, he seems almost completely cured. The treatment from that Taoist priest must have finally taken effect. The old man still found it hard to believe, but could that method make his martial arts improve so quickly? I've never heard of such a thing. The old man replied thoughtfully. Now that you mention it, that sudden improvement truly can't be explained by common sense. Unless he had some kind of fateful encounter arranged by destiny. Huan Feng agreed. And not just any ordinary encounter. He must have met a peerless master. Other than that, there's no other way to explain it. The dark shadow that has lasted for 17 years, weighing down the Huohua clan, is perhaps finally about to disappear. Meanwhile, at the Huohua clan's training ground, Zheng Tian explained, the dance of the butterfly is the hum of the golden bee. Yujin. Su Yan was confused. What does that mean, brother? I don't get it at all. He thought for a moment. Let me put it in simpler terms. It means when facing an enemy, you must make them feel as if their feet are frozen to the ground, unable to move. Meanwhile, your own footwork must be light, and as graceful as a butterfly in the spring wind. This is a basic footwork technique I created myself, accumulated from countless bloody battles. The two children exclaimed, "That's amazing!" The little girl was curious. "But it's weird." Elder Huan Feng said, "You've barely had any real combat experience." Zhao Jin whispered a reminder. "Hey, you idiot! You're not supposed to say things like that out loud." Zheng Tian didn't pay it any mind. All right. That's enough theory. Now for the practical part. Both of you, use the basic fist techniques I taught you and attack me together. The two children excitedly launched their attack. "Here I come!" Then they charged forward, shouting as they attacked. But their first moves stunned him. Zheng Tian stood almost completely still, not even blocking. His face darkened. "What is this? What in the world are these two doing? What are these clumsy movements? Are they really the descendants of a martial arts clan? Or are they just too young? But even so, this is just ridiculous. They don't know how to keep their balance, or shift their center of gravity from their stance. Even the most basic body control, they can't manage." Finally, Zheng Tian roared in frustration. "Enough!" The two children stopped, startled. He held his forehead and waved his hand. "My head suddenly hurts." "That's enough practice for today," Su Yan asked worriedly. "Young master brother, are you okay?" "That's weird, we didn't even hit you in the head." Zheng Tian stammered, choosing his words carefully. "You two truly have potential far beyond my expectations. For now, focus on strengthening your bodies. Then we can move on to more advanced techniques later. Now go and rest. See you at dinner." The two children, thinking they had been praised, left cheerfully. He sighed wearily. This isn't going to be easy. But he still thought cheerfully, "Master, you must have gone through so much hardship. I failed you, disciple. It's because of me that the family's martial lineage was broken. But I will definitely restore the lost glory of our clan and revive the ancestral martial arts of the Huohua clan. Then I will find that bastard, the one with the cursed mark of the swordless, the one that I, the demonic god Zheng Tian, could never defeat in my past life." Zheng Tian picked up his greatsword again. His gaze became even more determined. "No matter what, I will kill him." In a flash, his sharpness exploded. He executed a move, the sword cutting through the wind. His feet lightly jumped, springing up. "Now with just one hand, I can lift this sword. I can feel it. The energy flowing between heaven and earth." Zheng Tian used only basic movements to strike. The greatsword was surprisingly agile. He didn't stop for a second. "Every time I swing the sword in the old way, my speed increases even more." Instantly, his body became as light as a cloud leaping into the air. A few days later, the two elders finally appeared. Huan Feng greeted him nervously. "I have returned." Zheng Tian, with his hands behind his back, replied, "Good job." Mo Shi was indignant. "Good job, is that all? Do you know what we had to endure to protect the two young masters and young Miss Hua Suyin?" But he shouted back, "Who gave you permission to act on your own like that? If I had been even a moment later, perhaps all of you would be in coffins by now. If it happens again, I'll be the first one to put you in your coffins. Understand?" The two elders dejectedly said, "We're truly sorry, young master." "Yes, young master." Suddenly a voice spoke. "He really has gotten much better. I told you, only I can treat young master Yujin. A few more treatments, and he will be fully recovered." The newcomer was Du Yongshu. Mo Shi was startled. "Isn't that person?" he asked, confusedly scolding, "Who are you? We don't give handouts to beggars here, get lost." He quickly intervened. "Watch your mouth. This is the Taoist priest who saved you all." Then he turned to flatter him. "My sincerest apologies, Taoist master. The young master has not yet fully recovered." Zheng Tian kicked the servant away. "Move!" Then he said with a smile, "How rude of me. Truly rude of me, I didn't recognize you." His eyes were clearly filled with menace. "After such a long journey, you must be tired and hungry. Please, Taoist, come inside and rest first." A few days earlier, Mo Shi was sweeping the courtyard and looked ahead, saying that Taoist priest is the orthodox successor of the Wudong sect's Yang energy treatment. "Yes, that's him. The one famous for his miraculous martial arts. Who healed you?" "I don't know the details. I just know the butler spent a large sum of silver to invite him here." Zheng Tian overheard and smiled. "So it's this guy, come in." Yongshu walked past him, nodding. "Very well, this humble Taoist shall impose." The door slowly opened, revealing Zheng Tian's face. Yongshu's group also glanced towards him. Suddenly his voice rang out. "I hear you are the orthodox successor of the Wudong sect. Is that right?" Yongshu replied, "That is correct. Though it is a bit embarrassing to say it myself. But this humble Taoist is the only one who has comprehended the true essence of Wudong's teachings. My title is the White Immortal of Wudong." Before he could finish, Zheng Tian quickly closed in on him. What, you dare to call yourself the White Immortal of Wudong? That's strange. In all my time, I have never heard of any survivors. From the Orthodox Wudong sect. Yongshu tried to argue. No, you've misunderstood. I really am. But he was quickly cut off by him. Listen here, old man. Tell the truth before it's too late. If you wait too long, I'm afraid there will be no turning back. But the old man persisted. What are you talking about? Are you doubting me? I am the one who... But his words were ruthlessly cut short by him. Go on. I'll try to believe you this one time. If you really are a Wudong Taoist, dodging this sword strike shouldn't be difficult. Right saying that, his sword plunged straight down towards the old man. Yongshu screamed in terror. What are you doing? Stop him! Moshe, standing to the side, reminded him, Young master, why are you attacking a Taoist priest? Before you know the truth. But this didn't stop him. Shut up! Bring me a bucket of water! I'll show you all something interesting. Moshe asked curiously, what kind of trick? Before he could finish, a ladle of water was thrown. This drenched Yongshu completely. While Zheng Tian held him by the beard, the old man shouted angrily, What are you trying to do? Is this how the Huohua clan repays its benefactors by humiliating them? These words made his eyes sharpen. He yanked the old man's beard off. Everyone present was stunned. A doubtful voice rang out, a fake beard. Zheng Tian stood to the side with a meaningful smile. You even glued it on quite well, you despicable imposter. The scene changes to another room. An interrogating voice rang out. You've got some nerve trying to pull a fast one on me. And I almost fell for it, damn it. Moshe, standing to the side, looked at Zheng Tian and asked in a low voice, Young master, what do you plan to do with this one? He answered resolutely, Spare him absolutely not. Maybe chop off his hands and feet. Then turn him into a eunuch. That seems about right. Hearing his cruel words, the man begged for his life in fear. Please have mercy, sir. Don't kill me. Zheng Tian continued to threaten. Why would I kill you? If you're dead, who's going to pay me back? I'm just going to chop off a little bit. The impostor trembled all over, pleading. Sir, please spare my hands and feet. I'll return every bit of silver I scammed. Hearing this, he stepped forward. That's more like it. But I'll also be charging a fee for your useless hands. And your family jewels. Hearing that, he brightened up. Oh, you can skip that part. I'll pay however much silver you want. Zheng Tian turned to look at the person behind him. Butler, how much silver did he scam from you? The old man quickly replied, 50 taels of gold. Hearing the answer, he questioned, 50 taels, are you that easy to fool? How shameful. What the hell have you been doing all these years? The butler continued to make excuses. But I heard he was a great master of divine medicine. But this only made Zheng Tian angrier. Shut up, I've heard enough. I don't want to hear any more of your pathetic excuses. He then turned to face the impostor. You heard him right. Start by paying back the 50 taels of gold, he stammered. I don't have that much silver on me right now. If we go to my estate in Jinyang, then... Hearing this, Zheng Tian replied, 4 hours from here, lead the way. The butler then stepped forward and asked, Young master, do you need us subordinates to accompany you? He refused. No need, your weak body's coming along. Will just be a hindrance. Or do you want me to clean up your corpses too? Stay in the estate. Don't cause any more trouble. Let's go, you scammer, lead the way for me. Hearing this, the man said fearfully, right away. The other two could only watch their retreating figures. Let's trust the young master this time. The young master. He's not the same person he was before. The scene changes to the market outside. Zheng Tian went deeper and deeper inside. He looked around considering. Damn it. I should have brought a horse. Doesn't this damn place have a single animal? Yongshu turned his head to look at him. That's my carriage. Please, young master, get in. Hearing this, he was annoyed. Looks like you've scammed quite a bit. A 4-horse carriage like this is quite luxurious. He slowly stepped into the carriage. He seemed to notice something. He tutted, so it was because of the room in front. The inside was also lavishly decorated, padded and leather-lined. I travel all over the Central Plains for work, so comfort is a must. What a scammer. With an admirable work ethic, with such skilled hands, why not find an honest trade? Hearing this, the man bowed. From now on, I will definitely do so. I'll take it to heart. Zheng Tian didn't bother with him and leaned back, ordering, I'm going to take a nap. Wake me when we get there. Yongshu replied, understood. Please rest well, young master. After speaking, he fell asleep. This allowed Yongshu to reveal his true face. Just you wait, you bastard. He looked at the driver. Let's go. The carriage went deeper and deeper into the mountains, to a dark and overgrown place. The farther they went, the faster the carriage moved. The wheels also began to make creaking noises. Yongshu then stepped out of the carriage. He walked forward and asked, Are we here? He then pointed at the carriage. He's sleeping in the carriage. Drag him out and make an example of him. The other man clenched his jaw and thought, again, how dare someone obstruct a Taoist from saving all living beings? This is the price you pay for foolishly meddling in my affairs. Don't blame us. But suddenly his eyes widened, because Zheng Tian's sword had blocked his fist. What, he now awake asked. Are we there yet? He then swung his blade forward powerfully, striking the body of the man who tried to harm him. With just one blow, the man was knocked out of the carriage. Yongshu saw this and was shocked. What? As for the other man, he couldn't believe it. He muttered, hidden dragon-piercing breath. It seems the rumors were not exaggerated. Zheng Tian, unconcerned, stepped out of the carriage. Since when did Jinyang turn into a desolate forest? You were targeting me from the start, weren't you? I thought you were just a common scammer. I didn't expect you to know how to plot and scheme. Anyway, I was getting bored. Let's see what you've got. The man with the scar glanced back and shouted, Everyone come out! Heavy, imposing footsteps stepped out. That young master wants a death wish. Each of them picked up their weapons. Swords, axes, hammers, and maces were all gathered. The gleaming blades reflected a bright white light. 4 men each with a different appearance stood ready for battle. The 4 demons of Zhongshan. Yujin tilted his head up arrogantly. Your appearance is truly disgusting, like demons crawling up from hell. Why is the demonic aura so strong? Zheng Tian also gripped his own blade, competing. You have quite an array of weapons. A single slash brought down a wave of oppressive power that spread in all directions. The faces of the 4 demons of Zhongshan were instantly startled. His face was dark, revealing a sharp profile. Let's see what you're made of. As soon as he finished speaking, Yujin transformed into a sharp stream of sword energy and shot forward. The first person Zheng Tian targeted was the bald one. 2 heavy blades clashed, shaking their bodies. The speed was so fast that the other 3 couldn't react in time. The bald man was suddenly pushed back. By the time he was pushed back some distance, they finally realized. That bastard! He's only targeting one person, quick save him. The bald man could only raise his arms to block. Damn it! He came down like an iron hammer. The man in front of him seemed to go mad, grinning, incredibly heavy. And Yujin's sword strikes, all aimed for vital points. He flexibly twisted his wrist, changing the direction of the blade. The blade swept past, and before he could regain his footing, he fell. Zheng Tian lifted his foot, looking down at him with contempt. Looks like you're nothing special after all. His steps were neither fast nor slow, stomping straight down on the bald man's face. Immediately after, Zheng Tian turned again, facing the one rushing towards him. His body moved with agile grace, causing the attacker to miss. Taking advantage of his opening, Zheng Tian rammed his elbow into his side. The remaining 2 recklessly charged forward together. One with a sword, one with a spear, they surrounded him. But his strength was far beyond theirs. He dodged like the wind. His strikes were also vicious and ruthless. After finishing off, one Zheng Tian shot forward and vanished on the spot. He targeted the last one still standing. He hurriedly raised his sword to block. However, the moment his blade touched it, it shattered. The heavy blade, whistling through the air, swung down. The gleaming blade stopped just above his terrified face. Zheng Tian didn't let his blade taste blood, instead kicking him in the stomach. The swordsman also tumbled over, completely defeated. He clutched his stomach, his body trembling, unable to stand up. After all that fighting, he hadn't even broken a sweat. That's right, they use demonic arts. How can there be demonic arts in the Central Plains? He was now in a difficult situation, reluctant to act. I don't want to kill junior practitioners of demonic arts. What should I do? Suddenly, a resounding shout stopped him. Wait! The leader actually dropped to his knees. He looked straight at Zheng Tian and admitted defeat. We lost. Please spare our lives. The old man who had followed them witnessed this scene, his jaw dropping. Damn it! I can't believe the 4 demons of Zhongshan were so miserably defeated. The bald man honestly bowed his head and admitted guilt. After just the first few exchanges, I knew we were no match for you at all. His tone was one of confusion. Then why did you keep fighting and get beaten? Do you enjoy being tortured that much? A cold smile lifted the corner of Zheng Tian's mouth. All right, I'll spare you, but I will destroy your dantians and sever your meridians. Hearing this, the bald man's face changed drastically in shock. He quickly kowtowed, banging his head on the ground, begging, Sir, we were only following orders. Please don't end our paths as martial artists. He sneered at this display of pleading. You're grown men and you're whining like children. Zheng Tian slowly stepped forward. Who did you learn martial arts from? The bald man's tone became foolish. What do you mean? This foolishness annoyed him, and he raised his voice. What else I'm asking who your master is? It's hard to believe, but what you're using is demonic energy. But it's clearly just that. In the Central Plains, the number of people with demonic energy is extremely rare. Annoyed, he still had to find out the origin. Who taught you demonic arts? Seeing this, the bald man answered cautiously. Until the year before he died. We didn't even know his real name. Zheng Tian couldn't believe it. Such people exist in this world. What kind of disciples don't even know their master's name? He quickly waved his hands to explain. He told us not to look for his other disciples. under his tutelage. He got angry veins popping on his face. So that's how it is? Then you should have bowed your heads and quietly practiced your mediocre martial arts. Instead, you became bandits. The bald-headed man flailed his arms and legs, protesting his innocence. Thieves, no, we're not bandits. We were just helping our brother with a little business, that's all. But he couldn't believe someone could be so brainless. Business. You knew what kind of person he was, and you still helped him. We thought saving people was a righteous act. Isn't it? Zheng Tian turned back to the carriage, annoyed. Enough, get lost. Stop being his lackeys for today. If I see your faces again, your lives are forfeit. They all kowtowed in unison, shouting, "Thank you, my lord!" He turned to the old man standing silently nearby. You have to pay the ransom for this bunch, and for your own life as well. On top of that, you have to compensate me for my wasted junchi and emotional distress. The old man was so shocked, he turned pale, muttering, "What emotional distress? You can charge for that, too." But he still had to answer clearly. Yes, how would I dare to object? With that said, Zheng Tian's carriage silently continued on its way. The bald man watched the carriage, talking to himself. My master once said, "We're not very smart, and we're too trusting of others. He told us to choose our companions carefully. It seems my master's words have come true. And if you meet someone both strong and righteous, you should follow and serve them." He smiled. The feeling of following someone is great. It seems you and I are on the same wavelength. Inside the carriage, he hadn't even had a chance to rest his eyes. Why have we stopped again? Zheng Tian was extremely frustrated. What a waste of time. What is it this time? As soon as he opened the carriage door, the 4 demons of Zhongshan bowed in unison, shouting, "Big brother." The bald one representing the 4 swore an oath. "We pledge our utmost loyalty and vow to serve the Huohua Shijia until death. Please accept us." His face turned ugly with disgust. "Maybe you got hit too many times, and it drove you insane. Who are you calling Big Brother now, huh?" Yet the men before him corrected him in unison. "We're not even 30 years old yet. We ask for your care, Big Brother." This time it was Zheng Tian's turn to shout in disbelief. "What you said, you're not even 30? Unbelievable." The carriage slowly creaked along in the quiet night. Yukin's face couldn't hide his suspicion. Human life. The 4 demons of Zhongshan were now all gathered in his carriage. Finally, Zheng Tian couldn't help but glance at each of them. "You're younger than me. Only in your 20s. He still couldn't believe it. "Has everyone here gone through chi deviation or something?" One of them said matter-of-factly, "Nothing like that has ever happened here." "What exactly do you find so hard to believe?" He was too tired to argue. "Forget it." Zheng Tian glanced at the timid Yongshu, cowering in the corner. His expression became strange again, and he sighed. "Anyway, I still don't get it. How can demonic cultivators become warriors for a declining Orthodox clan? Logically, does that even make sense?" Big Brother Che Mu, the eldest of the 4, said, "Master always taught us that being a demonic cultivator is a way of life, an identity, not a sect or a faction." The person next to him was 4th Brother Lu Che. Zheng Tian chuckled faintly and shook his head in resignation. "You're not wrong, but to be blunt, what Orthodox clan would be willing to take in demonic cultivators? Wouldn't you just get caught up in all sorts of gossip?" 2nd Brother Dong Ji spoke in a booming, aggressive voice. "Whoever dares to open their mouth and say those words, we'll smash their skulls for you, brother." 3rd Brother Jang Tai aggressively chimed in. "Yeah, that's right. We'll rip their mouths apart." Hearing them argue like this actually reassured him. "You guys just barge in so aggressively. It's so naive. You look just like him, the one I used to deeply cherish. If you want to serve under another clan, you have to accept that you'll stake your lives on every order I give, whether you like it or not. Personal freedom means nothing. For the honor of the clan, you must obey like a dog." Zheng Tian, having finished speaking, made a demand of the group. "Is that clear?" They immediately jumped up, causing a ruckus. "Clear. We will dedicate ourselves wholeheartedly, Big Brother." Their shouting made his head ache. He waved his hand. "Good grief, fine, fine. Do as you wish. From now on, you are warriors of the Huohua Shijia." Hearing this, they cheered loudly, "Thank you, Big Brother." Zheng Tian had to correct their address. "And stop calling me Big Brother. Call me Young Master." Fortunately, they were still obedient. "Understood, Young Master." It was a bright moonlit night, sparkling with stars. After a long and arduous journey, the carriage reached the great city gate. The carriage rolled up the ramp, kicking up dust from the city's paved stones. After a while, it finally stopped, before their destination. He stepped gracefully out of the carriage. First, he looked up to assess the place. "Quite luxurious? Is this your mansion?" Young Shu stammered in confusion as he led the way and replied, "Yes, please come in, young master." "All right, let's go in. You open the gate." A servant hurriedly ran out with a lantern. "Master, what is all this?" The old man raised a hand to stop him, urging, "Don't ask. Quickly prepare food in the side house. Hurry." Zheng Tian walked in coolly, declining the offer. "Skip that. What are we here for? First, I want to see your treasure room." Yongshu immediately and respectfully fell silent. "Yes, this way, please." The presence of the 4 demons of Zhongshan following behind him had a considerable effect. Zheng Tian's eyes swept over, assessing everything in the mansion. "So this is how comfortably you live? On the silver you've swindled from the world." Suddenly, a person stepped out, blocking their path. "What's going on, disciple brother Bai?" Suqin stepped forward with a serious expression. "Is there some trouble?" Seeing this, Yongshu hurried forward to shoo him away. "Brother B!" "It's nothing. Please go back inside." This action made him feel confused. What is there to hide between us? So tell me, who are these people? He sighed, tiredly repeating the old man's words. "I told you to go inside. Why are you sticking your nose where it doesn't belong? Looking at your clothes. You must also be a guest of that swindler. Guests shouldn't meddle in the mansion's affairs." These words, however, wounded Suqin's towering pride. He reached out to block Zheng Tian's path. "You punk! Your mouth is truly foul." Seeing this, Chemu eagerly stepped forward. "Young master, do you need me to take care of him?" Yongshu tried to stop them. "No, it's a misunderstanding. They are my guests, brother Bai." The old man in his haste quickly made introductions. "All right, let me introduce you. These are the 4 demons of Zhong, Shan and the young master of the Huohua Shijia." Suqin sneered, not paying them any mind. "No wonder your tongue is so venomous. So, you're the mad young master of the Huohua Shijia, someone who calls himself orthodox, but runs around with a bunch of lowlifes, threatening common folk. How interesting." He walked past, coolly indifferent, not wanting to deal with it. "If you're done laughing, get out of the way. I have business to attend to." He continued to mock him. "Calling yourself righteous, yet you hang out with demonic cultivators, specializing in bullying commoners. Your ancestors must be crying their eyes out in their graves." But his next words made the whole group stop. What pathetic trash. Yongshu knew that things had gone too far to be ignored. That was Suqin looking very pleased with himself, placing his hand on the sword at his hip. "Brother Du, don't worry, I be Suqin, am no ordinary swordsman. I won't lose to this piece of trash." The old man's face lit up with a hint of anticipation. Really, Luce, the youngest and most arrogant, couldn't take it anymore. "I've had enough." He drew his spear with a murderous look in his eyes. "Please allow this subordinate to crush that bastard's jaw." He eagerly stepped forward, pleading with Zheng Tian. "Please give the order, young master." However, he immediately refused. "Stand down. I'll handle this myself." In an instant, he leaped high into the air with immense power. Zheng Tian's feet landed a short distance away. So the dog knows how to protect its master. He gave a mocking smile and beckoned with his finger. "Come here, you mutt." Just those words made the blood in Suqin's veins boil. He launched himself forward, flying, to attack Zheng Tian. His blade rose to block, a lightning-fast move. The clash of metal made a cold sound. Zheng Tian almost laughed through his nose, assessing his technique. "Fast footwork. But your internal energy is too weak." Hearing this, Suqin stumbled but tried to attack again. "What?" Just then his sword was pushed downward. While he was distracted, his opponent's blade swept towards him. Luckily, his reaction was fast. He leaned back to dodge. However, Zheng Tian swung his blade back around again. Suqin hurriedly raised his sword to block. "I can feel my sword cracking." The 4 demons of Zhongshan on the side knew the outcome just by looking. "It's over." "That's right. Once he's overpowered, there's no coming back. Just looking at it. His sword is harder than my iron staff, so it'll break soon. Either the sword or his head." The hope in Yongshu's eyes shattered with every beat of the fight. What, right after that? The sword in Suqin's hand was snapped in two by a single blow. Half the sword was sent flying, embedding itself firmly in the ground. However, Zheng Tian hadn't stopped at all. His blood-red eyes flashed. He swung his blade forcefully, hitting his opponent right in the stomach. He was immediately bounced off the ground by a powerful force like a ball. In an instant, he was slammed into the wall behind him. All 4 of them nodded. As expected, Zheng Tian then called to Luce, "Give him the weapon." "Throw me your iron staff." He didn't hesitate to hand it over. "Yes, young master." As soon as he got the staff, he saw that Suqin was already on his knees. "What did you just say? My grandfather is crying in his grave." A demonic smile appeared on his face. "All right, I'll let him hear your screams." From the grave right next to his. Only now did fear appear on his face. His body trembled violently. "Wait!" Immediately after, there was a long, howling scream of pain. The big demon lord cried out as if he were the one being beaten. Stop it now. You bastard, my bones are breaking." "That's right. For someone who's about to share a coffin with my ancestor. What's a few broken bones?" In the dark night, only his laughter echoed through the sky. The whole group sighed in admiration. He really knows how to beat someone up. They were curious. That guy must be on his last breath. Right, Yongshu ran over to plead. Oh heavens, young master. I implore you, young master, please spare his life. I'm willing to pay a ransom for his life. Zheng Tian asked coldly. Oh, really? The old man explained. This man is connected to Mo Tianfei. He's the kind of person who can't die in my mansion. Whatever the young master wants, I'll pay. Please spare his life, I beg you. But he remained indifferent. Is that so, I thought? You were placing some foolish hope on this piece of trash. You should have said so earlier. Yongshu thought in terror. He's a madman. The door to the room was pushed open. They stepped inside. Zheng Tian remarked, all right. It seems you've collected quite a bit, haven't you? Okay, let's start calculating. First, the 4 guys standing behind. You each life is worth 500 gold taels. Yongshu thought to himself. He just said he was going to take them. And the Huohua Shijia as warriors. So why did it turn out like this? He continued, second. Compensation for your 4 limbs, 200 gold taels. Your own life, 300 gold taels. Your loud-mouthed brother, the one who was just whining non-stop, his life is worth 1,000 gold taels. Finally, for the emotional damage you caused me. And the energy I had to waste today? 3,000 gold taels. To keep the calculation neat, just hand over all the valuables on you. How about it? Any objections? Yongshu's heart was breaking, but he still had to agree. Of course not. In his heart, he cursed. This animal is worse than a mountain bandit. Chest after chest of gold was carried away by Zheng Tian's men. He ordered, don't leave anything behind. A subordinate replied, yes, young master. Zheng Tian's eyes glanced over and noticed an item. He observed the folding screen opposite him. Zheng Tian frowned, as if sensing something unusual. He assessed it internally. What is this screen? There's a strange aura coming from it. Zheng Tian rubbed his chin thoughtfully. Could it just be my imagination? Yongshu was curious. Does the screen strike the young master's fancy? He replied, I don't particularly like it. The old man revealed, as expected, the young master has a discerning eye. That screen is the work of the great master Zhang Zushan. I noticed the young master's room is a bit bare. If the young master likes it, please take it. Zheng Tian accepted immediately. Oh, really? All right, I'll take it without a second thought. Upon hearing this, Yongshu cursed under his breath. This greedy brat. A carriage loaded with chests of gold was ready to depart. He asked again, you sure you don't need this carriage anymore? Right, since you'll have trouble getting around anyway. I'll take it, okay? The old man resignedly said, of course. It's my honor for the young master to use it. Zheng Tian was enthusiastic. All right, let's hit the road. The carriage slowly rolled down the road. Yongshu finally saw them off. Farewell. Zheng Tian reminded him, try to live a decent life. See you next time. The old man's hand trembled. See you next time. Haven't you robbed me enough? Are you even human? Why are the heavens so cruel? What did I do wrong to have to meet a madman like this the next day at the Huohua Shijia? Moshi couldn't believe it. Wait, what is this? He was having men carry chest after chest of gold inside. He was bewildered. What happened? Young master, where did that money come from? Don't tell me. Did you kill someone to get it? Zheng Tian denied it. No. You said we were short on money. Remember, so keep it safe. Anyway, Moshi, how old do those guys look to you? He guessed, looking at their muscular builds. It's clear they're not ordinary. No matter how I look at it, they're all over 40. Zheng Tian added, I'll tell them you said that. They'll probably love it. Where are Steward Du and Elder Zhao? I didn't see them when I arrived. Moshi suddenly remembered. Oh, right. Some very important guests have arrived, so they are entertaining them in the front hall. They told me to bring the young master there as soon as you returned. He was surprised. What more guests? Did another swindler come to scam us? Moshi denied it. No, absolutely not. Young master, you absolutely must not hit them. And please hurry. Zheng Tian was wary. Those old men, what tricks are they up to now? When he stepped into the reception hall, an announcement rang out. The young master has arrived. Steward Du greeted him. Welcome, young master. Allow me to introduce you, young master. These are the 3 merchant lords who have generously supported our Huohua Shijia during our difficult times. The first person the old man introduced was the master of the Bangyang Merchant Guild, Bang Guanwu. He stood up to greet him. I heard that the hidden dragon has awakened. It seems the rumors are true. I am Bang Guanwu, master of the Bangyang Merchant Guild. The next 2 spoke up. I am Dongguan Yu, leader of the Wuliang Merchant Alliance. Seeing the young master safely through the crisis, I can rest a little easier. It has been too long since I last had the honor of meeting you. I am Huang Yu King, master of the Jinsai Manor. Zheng Tian clasped his hands in a polite greeting. There's no need for such ceremony. I am Hua Yu Kin of the Huohua Shijia. Thank you all for coming. Huan Feng stood up cheerfully. Steward Du also stood there waiting for him to continue. The other 3 smiled in anticipation. Zheng Tian calmly poured a cup of tea. So the three of you have come here to collect the debt that my Huohua Shijia owes. Is that correct? Guanwu denied it. No. We absolutely have no intention of forcing the young master to repay the debt. We just heard that the young master had woken up, so we wanted to come and congratulate you. If we have inconvenienced the young master, we sincerely apologize. One of them continued. First of all, I am deeply grateful for the sincere support of your merchant guilds, but the matter of repayment must be handled clearly. I have only just recovered my senses, and I'm still not fully aware of the situation within the family. I hope you can forgive me. Second, I want to know the total debt my Huohua Shijia owes, your merchant guilds, before we discuss repayment. We must be clear on the specific number. Yu King didn't beat around the bush, as expected of the young master. In that case, although I'm not happy about it, let us announce the approximate amounts. The three of them reported the figures. 300 taels to the Bangyang Merchant Guild, 200 taels to the Jinsai Manor, 900 taels to the Wuliang Merchant Alliance, Zheng Tian calculated mentally. A total of 400 taels. Guanwu was silently contemplating something. He slammed his hand on the table and said, now that everything is out in the open, I must confess something. For a long time we have been oppressed by the Tsinghua Merchant Guild, Zheng Tian asked suspiciously. What the Tsinghua Merchant Guild wants, Guanwu revealed, is precisely the right to collect the debt that your family owes the three of us. Right. Obviously that would be detrimental to your family. So we have always adamantly refused them, Yu King continued. But after the duel the other day, Tsinghua Merchant Guild began to use its immense financial power to corner us. They monopolized all our sources of goods, cut off all merchant guilds that were allied with us, and even poached the leaders of our branches. Truly shameless. Huanfeng was astonished. I never expected things to be this serious. He said with concern, we are ashamed to say this, but now we no longer have the strength to resist. Before we are forced to hand over the debt collection rights to them, we felt we should at least come and warn the young master. Zheng Tian spoke skillfully. We are extremely grateful for the young master's kindness. Thinking of what you all have endured, my heart is heavy. Those who once clung to the Huohua Shijia, when times were prosperous, have all left. Only Elder Zhao, Steward Du, and the three of you have remained to support the family. Although I am not skilled in scholarly matters, there is one thing I understand very well. That is, a debt of gratitude must be fully repaid. Third, I will repay the entire debt that the Huohua Shijia owes you. I will pay it off immediately. Guanyu was astonished. Is that really possible? He declared, in return for the interest and all the help we have received, I will free your merchant guilds from the clutches of Tsinghua Merchant Guild. The three of them were shocked upon hearing this. Guanwu suddenly let out a long sigh. He asked cautiously, Young Master Hua, do you mean you are willing to use force on our behalf? Zheng Tian confirmed, of course. Steward Du exclaimed, Young Master Hua, what are you saying? Do you have any idea who's backing those bastards? It's the Kongtong sect, one of the most powerful sects in the entire martial world, Zheng Tian asked nonchalantly. So it's those old geezers behind them, huh? That attitude left the old man speechless. Young Master Hua, a young man interjected, Steward Du, don't worry. As long as that debt is cleared, they'll have no more tricks up their sleeves. For us, that alone is a great favor. How could we dare to let the Huohua Shijia directly confront the Kongtong sect? Zheng Tian praised. Indeed, the sleeping true dragon has truly awakened. His opponent laughed and replied, Thank you for your words, young master. The old man's heart was much more at ease now. They walked out of the mansion gate to bid each other farewell. Well then, we shall take our leave. May your esteemed clan prosper. Zheng Tian was polite, wishing them a safe journey. Watching the backs of the three great lords as they left, he muttered the name Tsinghua Merchant Guild, huh? Then he gave an order, Steward Du, gather 10 pieces of intelligence on those rats. From their finances, areas of operation, and traded goods, to their connection with the Kongtong sect. I need to know everything clearly. Steward Du was shocked. Young Master Hua, wait. Were you being serious just now, good heavens? You've been harping on about that this whole time. He was resolute. Did you think I was joking? I told you grudges must be settled. Debts of blood or kindness all must be calculated clearly. You all heard what they did to them. If I let those bastards off the hook now next time, they'll surely come straight for our throats. At this point, it's either go big or go home. Besides, think about it. Over 15 years of support in exchange for just that, they won't help us anymore. So, shouldn't we repay them properly for once? I'm sure they'll think it's just the ravings of a madman. He thought to himself, well, let's just see how fortunes turn. Someone announced from behind young Master Hua, the tasks you assign to your subordinates. have all been completed. Zheng Tian praised. Good. Gather here. Introduce yourselves properly. These two are the elder and steward of this clan. Steward Du was curious. Young Master Hua, who are they? He approached them. He announced, let me introduce you. From today onwards, they will be the warriors joining our Huohua Shijia. The renowned young men of the Zhongshan region. They are the 4 demons of Zhongshan. Sushan, representing the group, said, please take good care of us. The other 2 were startled upon hearing this. Zheng Tian smiled. Don't be so surprised just yet. There's something that will probably surprise you even more. All of them are younger than me. The old man was shocked. What? Steward Du couldn't believe it. He thought it was impossible. The quartet was discussing among themselves, I'm so hungry I could faint. How about we find some meat and have a meal? Why are they standing there like that? They're clearly overwhelmed by our presence. Steward Du asked apprehensively, Young Master Hua, are you not aware of the terrifying reputation of the 4 demons of Zhongshan? How could you arbitrarily bring them into the family? Without discussing it with us, he questioned back. What about when you were planning to secretly send my 2 younger siblings away? Did you ask for my opinion then? The old man was speechless. Well, that's... Zheng Tian reminded him, if I nod, they stay. If I don't, they have to pack their bags and leave. Don't forget who will become the next head of this clan. It's me. While he was at it, he ordered, Moshigo buy a cow. He looked troubled. About that, Steward Du interjected. We don't have a single coin left. Have you forgotten? Over 10,000 taels of gold were just used to pay off all the debts. They were led to the storage room. Inside there were still many treasures. Steward Du was astonished. All of this, Zheng Tian spoke up. That swindler had quite a bit of wealth stashed away. Didn't he? Han Feng exclaimed. Young Master Hua, don't tell me you... He reassured, don't worry, I won't kill him. I'm just taking back what's rightfully mine. Steward Du curiously asked, so what about this screen? Zheng Tian explained. They said it's a masterpiece by Zhang Sushan. So they gifted it to me. Steward Du trembled. Zhang Sushan, you say? He recounted, I heard, that even if sold cheaply, it would fetch at least 90 taels of gold. So I just went ahead and took it. The old man had already checked it. It looked authentic. He continued, so isn't this enough for you to buy meat? Steward Du confirmed more than enough. Zheng Tian urged him on. Then stop chattering and go buy it now. After he finished speaking, he gave a cold glance. The door slammed shut in an instant. Inside, the screen was emitting a faint mystical aura. The next morning, as dawn broke, the group had gathered in the backyard. Zheng Tian spoke up. I'm sure you're wondering why I called you all here at the crack of dawn. After everything that has happened recently, I've realized that you all are in desperate need of a special training regimen. The foundation of swordsmanship is the body that wields the sword. No matter how advanced your martial arts are, with a weak body it's all for nothing. Therefore, starting today, we will begin a special physical training program. His voice grew noticeably colder. I will personally supervise. I hope that while following me, no one chickens out halfway. At your feet is a 144 jin sack of rice. From this day forward, it will be your faithful training companion. Let me be clear. This is not food. Anyone I catch stealing rice will be dead meat. It's a pain that someone's always thinking of how to wolf it down. Daojin was suspicious. Why do our sacks look so much smaller? They're 15 jin at most. Someone couldn't help but ask. So what exactly are we supposed to do with these sacks? Zheng Tian ordered, hoist it onto your shoulders. They were surprised. Young Master Hua, it would take 2 people to even lift this. He shouted, shut up and lift it, unless you want me to beat you to a pulp. My sword isn't sharp enough to give you a clean cut with one swing, but with just one strike. Every bone in your body will be shattered. Make your choice, lift the rice sack or come up here and face me. Sushan was the first to comply. He hoisted the sack onto his shoulders. Zheng Tian walked over and asked the 4 demons, are you kidding me? For demonic cultivators to be this pathetic? What a disgrace. Each of you carry 3 sacks. Anyone who doesn't want to step up and fight me. He struggled so much his whole body trembled. Each of them hoisted the 3 sacks of rice onto their shoulders. Steward Du's eyes widened. What the hell is this? Huanfeng asked suspiciously. Young Master Hua, what are you planning to do to us? Once everyone had shouldered the sacks, Zheng Tian praised them. Good. Once you're determined to lift it, you can lift it. Can I do it? Throw that pathetic thought away. Failure means death. So what in this world is impossible now? He also demonstrated. All right. Now start squatting up and down 200 times. Everyone follow me. The shouts echoed through the training ground. 1, 2, 3. Someone's legs were already shaking from the stance. Shunfeng gritted his teeth, struggling to support the 3 sacks. Zheng Tian, also carrying 3 sacks, yelled, push up. Tighten your core and push, you bastards. Do you want to die? Sushan thought to himself, what is this feeling? My whole body feels like it's collapsing. From the legs up, If I can't take this, young Master Hua Wujin will beat me to death. He mustered his strength and let out a yell. Huanfeng observed, what kind of damn training method is this? Just watching is exhausting. He worried for the two siblings. With such small bodies, can they even handle this? Zheng Tian yelled. What kind of martial artists are you putting on airs? All you've ever done is waste the family's food. And now you dare to whine and groan over a little training like this. People like you don't deserve to live. Anyone who complains is dead for sure. Until sunset, they persisted carrying the rice on their shoulders. Their faces were visibly pale. 200. After the last one, the whole group collapsed to the ground, exhausted to rest. Zheng Tian stood firm with 3 sacks on his shoulders, asking mockingly, just the warm-up, and the whole day is already gone. With such pathetic stamina, you want to practice martial arts. How today's training session ends here. However, from now on, you will live and die with these rice sacks. Eat with them, train with them, and sleep with them. You must always carry them with you until when? Until I tell you you can put them down. Hey, Zhang Sushan, he replied. Yes, young master. He ordered, tie them all up, sacks and all, with rope. Anyone who dares to untie the rope, consider your life untied as well. Remember that well? He thought to himself, how strange. For some reason today, I wish I could see the face of his mother. Zheng Tian continued to instruct Ma Shi. From today onwards, ensure that everyone has beef with every meal. He obeyed. Yes, young master. Should I prepare a bath? He refused. No need, I'll let you know later. After that, Zheng Tian returned to his room. He himself flopped onto the bed to rest. After a day of exertion, Zheng Tian fell asleep immediately. That night, as the gentle moonlight shone on the courtyard, the group with rice sacks tied to them sat down for dinner. Su Yan picked up her food with trembling hands. Everyone was in a state of utter misery. Zimi glanced at his own trembling hand holding the chopsticks. He turned to ask, Big brother, isn't this strange? We only trained our legs, but our hands are shaking uncontrollably. Heisho felt the same. You, too, I find that strange as well. Even when training with my previous master, it was never like this. The other person confirmed, yeah, that's right. Zimi gritted his teeth, enduring the heavy weight on his back. The next day, the training continued. They were doing push-ups. The sound of counting rang out. 42, 43. Zheng Tian noticed. Hey, you in the 3rd row. Yeah, you brat, do you want to die? Keep your body straight. You still have 120 more to go. Focus, you hear me. Someone couldn't help but glance at his rivals, thinking, how are they all able to do this? What kind of monsters are they? The next day was the same. He led the group on a run. All of you have turned into ducks, follow me. The local people heard the quack, quack, and were bewildered. Zimi was on the verge of a mental breakdown. What the hell is going on? My mouth is quacking. And the next day was the same. Zheng Tian urged them, hurry up. Do you want to train all day again? Whoever is slower than me carries another sack. Someone struggled to lift the rice sack. The 2 young kids also struggled to lift their 50th. Zheng Tian silently praised them. These kids are keeping up far better than I expected. Should I increase the difficulty? The next day, they moved their training location to a place with churning waves. Sushan hesitated. This place, could it be? He confirmed. That's right. You're all hot, aren't you? They were standing on the other side of the river. The water was flowing rapidly, but Zheng Tian ordered, cross it. Sushan stared blankly at the churning water. In that direction, there was also a waterfall. Su Yan was delighted. A waterfall, it must be so cool. The little girl suddenly remembered. Oh, right. Crap, you can't swim? Daojin looked at Su Yan. After all these days of training, even the way you talk has changed. Huanfeng blurted out. Should we report this to young master? Hua Wujin. Young master Hua Wujin. No, we can't. The current is too strong. People have died here before. Steward Du added worriedly. Even crossing the river empty-handed is extremely dangerous. Hey, Zheng Tian said calmly. Geez, you old men worry too much. Don't worry, I've already tested everything before we started. The old man was surprised. When did you ever try this kind of training? He ordered, hey, all of you cross the river or fight. Me, make your choice. One by one, they jumped. I'm going first, young master Hua Wujin. They jumped into the water with a splash. Zimi asked worriedly, what now? Zhang Tai already jumped. He replied, I know. The chance of survival here is higher than facing young master Hua Wujin. I'm jumping too. They acted one after another. Then I will too. The others also risked it. Damn it, all right. Let's go, this is do or die. The sound of splashing water rang out. Seeing the person in front of him hesitate, the person behind him ordered, if you're not going to jump, move aside. What? Do you think young master Hua Wujin will actually kill you? Ah, I'm jumping first. Daojin was psyching himself up. How could I dare say those words to Hua Wujin? I am also a warrior of the Hua family. The boy lifted his leg and charged forward. Dao Zhen was determined. This won't make me back down. Finally, the boy successfully jumped down. Huan Feng shouted worriedly, "Young Master Hua Dao Zhen!" Zheng Tian led the way. "If you fall, you will really die. Swing your arms, kick your legs, don't stop." Dao Zhen emerged from the water, greedily gasping for air. The boy was amazed. "I did it. Even I can do something like this." He reached his hands forward, trying to swim. Dao Zhen was stunned. "Even I!" The boy was slowly sinking. His body gradually submerged as he thought to himself, "Even I can do it." Dao Zhen's hand flailed as it reached up. "Damn it! I'm being swept away by the current." Someone yelled, "Young Master Dao Zhen is being swept away by the current. I'm going—" The boy successfully surfaced. They seemed to be in a race to see who would reach the finish line first. Heisho had grabbed the floundering Dao Zhen. "Got you." He reminded him, "Breathe, breathe. When I give the word, take a deep breath and grab my arm tightly." That slowpoke got away, just charged straight ahead. Heisho pulled the boy. "Now get ready." The two of them let themselves be carried down the waterfall. At that moment, Huan Feng's group stood high above, extremely worried. Steward Du yelled, "Young Master Dao Zhen is over there." The boy's small hand touched the shore. Heisho praised him. "Not bad," the boy said with difficulty. "You saved me. Thank you." Heisho replied modestly, "Don't mention it." Zheng Tian approached from behind and asked, "Kid, are you okay? You didn't hit anything, did you?" Dao Zhen reported his condition. "Yes, I'm fine." "Brother, it was lucky this martial artist arrived in time." Heisho was surprised. "What? Young master, when did you start following so closely?" "Don't force yourself." He replied, "Going together is good, of course. But if something happens to you, then this whole thing becomes meaningless." Dao Zhen fell silent upon hearing this. The boy said with determination, "I'm not one to keep begging like this. I will follow you to the very end. Only then will my heart have no regrets. I will become a martial artist of the Hua family." Zheng Tian smiled when he saw Dao Zhen's attitude. Heisho praised, "The boy was very brave." Huan Feng's group patted their chests and sighed in relief. They proceeded to a sheer mountain range to undertake a new challenge. Heisho's hand was clinging to a rock ledge. He and the others were currently on a vertical cliff face. Zheng Tian yelled, "If you fall, there won't even be bones to pick up. Give it your all and get up here." Someone couldn't help but curse, "That crazy bastard. He's really lost it. Damn lunatic, I never wanted to follow him this far." This person's foot slipped and he slid down, his whole body falling. This person screamed in terror. Fortunately, his hand managed to grab onto a clinging vine. Zimi asked, annoyed, "What is it?" The man whimpered, begging, "Please help me." Zimi gritted his teeth and cursed. He struggled to hold on to his anchor point. "Damn it!" He yelled, "Stop crying and grab the rock in front of you. You idiot!" Until the bright sun shone down, they proceeded to the next challenge, running. Zheng Tian reminded them, "Run. If someone falls behind, I'll have to carry them and run." Someone recognized him. "Mother, are those people the 4 demons?" Moreover, they are martial artists of the Hua family. The 2 young kids also trained persistently. Suyan began to show signs of weakness. Seeing the girl fall, Dao Zhen worriedly called Suyan. Huan Feng ran over worriedly, calling, "Young lady Hua Suyan. Young lady, are you all right?" The little girl whispered weakly, "Carry me, Elder Zhao, quickly." His face showed astonishment. "Young lady." In the end, Huan Feng had no choice but to comply and carry the girl. Zheng Tian asked coldly, "What are you doing? If a little girl follows along and collapses, I won't stop her. But she must bet her life on it." He yelled, urging them, "Aren't you going to run?" By the time it grew dark, the entire group was exhausted, sitting and lying sprawled on the ground. Even Zimi was just as exhausted as the others. Shunfeng walked up to him. This person asked coldly, "I hear you fall behind in every training session. You can't even contribute a flower petal. How long do you plan to be like this? How much longer do I have to suffer losses because of you? If you can't take it, then just crawl away. Don't harm others. Do you hear me?" He replied, "Master is so considerate. You think I want to do this? What martial artist I wanted to throw it all away a long time ago." But hearing those words, young Master Shunfeng understood. "So you don't dare speak up because you're afraid of being beaten to death. Is that why you collapse like a rotten corpse every time? It seems you're no good as a living martial artist, so, right now, I will neatly sever your lifeline." Zimi was scared. "Why?" Yan Ming came to stop him. "Stop! It's all because of useless minions like you." Shunfeng's hand tightened upon hearing this. He declared, "Then stop being a martial artist. Get up, I'll send you to your death first." As his fist was raised, Su Shan came to stop him. "Stop!" As that brother said, that guy is also trying his best in his own way. Since he has come to the Hua family, he is also our brother. That's enough. Shunfeng angrily shouted, "Brother! What kind of brother is this piece of trash? After seeing it with your own eyes for so long, you still say that Brother, how long are you going to keep up this foolish act? Do you really think doing this can make you stronger? This isn't what we hoped for, Sushan said calmly. Young master, you are someone who has wielded a sword for many more years than us. Everyone learns differently, but in my opinion, it's absolutely not meaningless like that. But words like that should wait until you have surpassed me, young master, Shunfeng replied. Another situation that puts me at a disadvantage. You should know that my life will be extinguished before yours, young master. As night fell, Shunfeng still had to carry the rice sack on his back. He cursed, damn it, the outhouse is annoyingly far. Suddenly, a movement made Shunfeng vigilant. What was that? Who's here at this hour? Glancing into the distance, he saw Zheng Tian practicing his martial arts. His eyes were cold, his footwork agile. Shunfeng was stunned. Is that you, young master? Shunfeng watched his every move in amazement. Each of Zheng Tian's slashes was as sharp as the wind. His movements were extremely agile, his techniques powerful. He was horrified. It's not just that he's fast, he's full of power, yet his movements are still fluid. And the age difference between me and him isn't that much. How can he execute such swordsmanship? This is what they call the realm of natural talent in martial arts. Zheng Tian's footwork stopped. He had realized someone was spying on him. Zheng Tian asked coldly, "Who's there? Roll out here before I split your skull open." Shunfeng stepped out. "It is I, young master Hua Wujin." He asked, "What are you doing there?" He recounted, "I was on my way back from the outhouse and got lost. I wasn't intentionally spying." Zheng Tian ordered, "Whatever, I'm bored anyway." "All the better. Put the rice sack down. Then pick up a sword next to you." Shunfeng dropped the heavy rice sack. The two of them stood facing each other. He drew his sword. Shunfeng agreed to the challenge. "Very well." Zheng Tian shouted an order to his opponent. "Come at me!" In an instant, he had already rushed forward. Their swords clashed with a clang. The sword fight was fierce. Shunfeng clearly struggled with the incoming slashes. Zheng Tian, however, remained calm in his response. He relentlessly attacked his opponent. Shunfeng knew it wouldn't be possible, but still. "What is this?" "My sword." He was astonished. "Was I always this fast?" Zheng Tian unleashed a storm of slashes. He exclaimed, "Finally, you're somewhat useful." Then he quickly moved behind his opponent and landed a direct blow on Shunfeng's back. "Aren't you too focused on what's in front of you?" How he face-planted on the ground, unable to defend. But his hands quickly pushed off the ground, using the momentum to spring back up. Shunfeng had realized it. As expected, Zheng Tian assessed. "Before you would fall in one blow, but now your resilience is finally somewhat useful." He realized, thinking back, the aftershock was still strong, but it was no longer enough to paralyze me with a single blow. He left. "All right, that's enough for today. I'm leaving. Go get some rest." He bowed respectfully. "Yes, sir, please rest well." Shunfeng looked at his hand thoughtfully. "Could it be?" The next day, Zheng Tian announced, "Today we train our abs. Everyone grip the rice sack between your legs and hold on tight." One by one, they began to train. Shunfeng mustered his strength to grip the rice sack tightly, then lifted his body up and down. He gritted his teeth, straining with all his might. The others were amazed. "Everyone is so incredible. They can do that with a rice sack between their legs." They look even more fired up than before. Next was still the long-distance run. Zimi ran until his face was ashen. His vision began to blur. "No, if I collapse here again?" The rice sack on his back was supported by someone. Shunfeng advised, "Hang in there. There's not much left to go." Zheng Tian smiled at the act, and so about a month passed. He concluded the course. "You all held up very well. As of today, the special training is over. Everyone untie the ropes and put the sacks down." They cheered at the prospect of being freed from the training. Zheng Tian smiled and announced, "Sorry to rain on your parade, but every year in summer and winter, we will do the same type of training. Hey, the next training session will be this winter. It's only a few months away. If it's any consolation, that training session will be easier than this one, because you've already been through it once. That very experience is invaluable. Anyway, the training ends here. But don't forget, a strong body means a strong sword." "Understood." Everyone shouted in unison, "Understood." He drew his sword and declared, "And from now on, I will conduct practical combat sparring, which will push your experience to another level. Once I call your name, grab any weapon you want and step forward." Their joy didn't even last a moment. They were beaten unconscious, an endless cycle of pain and endurance that seemed eternal. But that time of hardship became experience, and experience brought new changes. Therefore, the mountain bandits, once known as the Four Demons of Zhongshan, have now become the new martial masters of the Huohua family. And just like that, the Huohua family quietly but quickly began to gradually reclaim its former glory, which had long shone brilliantly over Xishuang. Even Daojin's aura had become different. The boy was training with Zimi. He praised, "Very good, young master. Try pivoting on your back foot. At the exact moment of impact, you'll deliver a more powerful strike." Steward Du watched in amazement. "Look, it seems young master Hua Daojin has found his old self again." Huan Feng sighed in relief. "Indeed. What a relief. It's been a long time since I've seen that face. Who would have thought he'd get along so well with the 4 demons of Zhongshan?" The old man continued, "But more than that, the biggest thing is that young master Hua Wujin has come to his senses and stabilized. The Hua family..." Things are going so well it's almost scary. "That's true, I must say. Sometimes it still looks like his madness is flaring up again. But I wonder if he'll come out of the storeroom today." Sunset fell upon the Hua family courtyard. At this time in his room, Zheng Tian was sitting in meditation. He closed his eyes, circulating the qi in his body. When he opened his eyes, Zheng Tian was dazed. "Is this the 4th day already?" As expected, that's no ordinary screen. The more internal energy I pour into it, the more fiercely it pushes back with even greater force. Then let's see who wins in the end.